Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Friday night. Do you know where your movie chat is? Hollywood After Dark. Anyway, a lot to talk about tonight. Eternals, oof, doing well. But is it? Let's talk about all that and more right now. Howdy, 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 ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I think I already said that tonight. But anyway, welcome back to the show. I know I took the last couple nights off. I apologize for kind of going off schedule. Tonight, I'll tell you this. I'll be honest with you guys. I needed a break. I had been on for, I think, 10 days straight, and I was just done. I just needed to sleep. And that's what I was trying to do, which is very difficult when you have children. But I was trying nonetheless. That being said, I still have not seen the Eternals. Last night I was going to, something came up, and then of course I missed it. Tonight I thought about going to see it, but then I'm like, you know what? I'll come home and I'll live stream talking about a movie that I haven't seen yet because, you know, that makes me the most ethical and non-hypocritical person out there. I'm not going to bash the movie because I haven't seen it, but I find the response to it to be very fascinating. I find the fact that people are really kind of divided over this movie very interesting, and I think it's actually going to work out well for it, to be honest with you. And I'll talk about that as we get into everything. I did send the invite out to my usual crew of miscreants and cohorts, but we don't know what they're up to this evening. Maybe they'll pop by, maybe not. That's okay, because we're going to be reacting to a couple of different videos tonight. I wanted to touch upon, I was sent this morning a tweet, a DM from someone who was like, "Oh my God, are you hearing what Cameron Pasha is saying over on Midnight's Edge?" And I'm like, no, because I'm human and I have a life. But I tuned in for a little bit, caught a little bit of what he was saying. It was, of course, as wild as it normally is. So I thought we would take a dive into that tonight to kind of laugh at him, because again, this is just going to show you how far down the Chewbacca rabbit hole Midnight's Edge is going, and they don't believe a single word that he says, but a lot of their audience at this point does, because these are people who enjoy being lied to. And then, of course, Jeremy Griggs from Geeks and Gamers apparently had a hot take about the Eternals being banned in a few different countries. So, okay, that could be an interesting one, because I do want to hear what he has to say, because I don't know if he's going to get it. Maybe he will. Maybe he won't. I don't quite know. Yeah, Vonnier says, breaks are good. You deserve it. Also, you have a dad job. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I have a food delivery job last night that I ended up going out to do. And on the last order, I got tip baited, which is another thing that just pissed me off about last night. It was such a dumb, I hate when people do this. You can't do this on DoorDash, but you can do it on Uber, where you can go, oh, I want people to rush to get this order, so I'm gonna put out a higher payout, right? I'm gonna a high tip, and then in that hour after the driver delivers the food, you just lower the tip, and that's that. So there was an order that had a $5 tip attached to it. I literally went to the person's apartment. I handed them the order. I can't see what's in the order because it's a sealed bag. And they removed $3.50 and only tipped me $1.50. No, I mean, look, at the end of the day, $3.50 isn't the end of the world, but it's the principle of the matter. So that was a little frustrating from last night. So I ended up just kind of like coming home and saying, screw it, I'm going to go take out terrorists and Ghost Recon. There we go. Let's see here. Moisture says, Hawad would be fine as a weekly show. It doesn't need to be daily. Yeah, Moisture, I completely agree with you. However, the super chats that I get doing this actually help offset when it's slow doing delivery driving. So while it's not everything I wanted to do, it is ultimately better on that front at the end of the day. So that's one of the reasons why. But 10 days in a row is a lot, and it's just a long time. Anyway, Benji here says Eternals is great. Just watched it tonight. 9 out of 10. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing for some people. I've seen some responses that were really good. on social media, and I've seen some responses that were really bad. I was actually kind of surprised in a few instances about this. Cool Mo D says, you and Enosh always streaming at the same time. Well, I mean, he's on the East Coast, I'm on the West Coast. It's 11:13 p.m. out here. So it's like 2:13 in the morning over there. I can only go so early, I guess you want to put it like that. So that's kind of what's been happening with that one. And, and Enosh is out of job right now too. So he's going to be up later. It's always kind of what happens with that. And he can stream when he wants to stream. It's all good. And then Tony here saying, greetings. How's it going, buddy? And Protoss here saying, I didn't know you could change a tip mid-delivery. You have up until an hour after the food has been delivered to change the tip. Most instances, the tip is kind of already established, like they show it to you when you accept the order. And but sometimes like they add on more. Like tonight, for example, I got a Five Guys burger and fries order that was like 10.5 miles into literally into this, in an island, in a little inlet in the Puget Sound. And it was like way the hell up there. And I'm like, it's kind of a ritzy area, but the payout was only I think it was only like $11. And it was like 10.5 miles. I'm like, that's usually not what I like, but okay. Maybe I'll do it. And I go out there. It's a little old lady, a little nice old lady, no extra tip on that, but she got her food. And at the end of the day, that's what I'm here for. But then another person, it was like $18 to go a few miles to bring people booze. Cause I do also alcohol shopping. That's another thing that I do. So some things pick up, some things don't. It is. We're going to be debunking Midnight's Edge tonight, TW. And in fact, if you want, I can send you a link to come on in. That way we can have your take on it. Let's see. Donovan here says, last night in Soho was phenomenal. Completely exceeded my expectations, just like what Shang-Chi did as well. Hope Eternals is a surprise. Yeah, man, me too. I'll tell you this, though. I don't know anything about last night in Soho. I've seen the teaser trailer. I've seen some of the adverts for it. I honest to God, I don't know what it's about. I just don't know what it's about. So there's that. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But with any luck, I'll be able to go see some more movies here pretty soon. I'm trying to find the time to go and do that. Maybe tomorrow night. I'll go check out Eternals at the last showing of it. Red Notice is also playing in my theater. It opens on Netflix this next week, but it is playing at my theater right now. And the review from Variety was definitely not good. The review from Variety was very mean. Very, very, very mean to it. I thought that was kind of interesting. I thought that was kind of crazy, but it's about what I expected. I'll tell you this, guys. There's a certain je ne sais quoi when it comes to traditional critics reviewing streaming content. Stuff that you figure would be on the big screen, like at the $185 million Red Notice, Netflix's most expensive film that stars Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and it stars Ryan Reynolds and Gal Gadot. And this is one that should be in theaters. It is in theaters, but it should have gotten a major, major, major release. And I'm telling you guys, this is going to be where we see if The Rock's fan base comes out. Because I always like to argue about whether or not the Rock is an actual movie star. And everyone tells me, he's the biggest in the world, Matt. He's the hugest in the world, Matt. You're just wrong. Why are you hating on The Rock, Matt? Come on. The Rock is the biggest guy ever, Matt. I hear this all the time. Every time I bring it up, this is a perfect example of this, where a movie of his that not only has him, but Ryan Reynolds and Gal Gadot, we're talking Black Adam, Wonder Woman, and Deadpool all together in a massive, massive, massive action adventure comedy. And we'll see if it even cracks like 20 mil. It may not even crack 20 mil. I don't even know. I don't even know if that can even remotely possibly happen. So it's one of those things where it's like, this is going to put it to the test about whether or not it is the actor, it is the brand, or it is the character. And that is why Red Notice is going to be really interesting to see, because the movie Jungle Cruise came out over the summer, did $100 million during the pandemic, got a sequel from Disney. The movie cost a lot more than what it brought in, but it still had enough of an impact value for Disney to where they realized that there is a franchise here. Red Notice is the most expensive Netflix movie ever freaking made. So why is it not in more theaters? Why isn't there a more massive presence before it goes? And this has a lot to do with the day and date stuff. Look at Halloween Kills. It was a day and date with Peacock, did very well. You know, Black Widow day and date did quite well. Jungle Cruise day and date did quite well. Day and date doesn't necessarily have the impact, but maybe because this is day and date for Netflix, it may be in a different boat. Now, the other thing with that I could think about would be Army of the Dead, which was in theaters a week before the release of the movie. It was in 444 screens, if I recall, and it did okay. I think it did like 708,000 in its opening weekend, which is not great, but it's also not terrible for only 400 screens, not 4,400 screens. But even then, just the pure extrapolation of it wouldn't be that much. And it was enough for Netflix to be very happy with that and for Cinemark to sign a deal. But that was Zack Snyder. That was Army of the Dead. This is The Rock. This is Ryan Reynolds, Gal Gadot. Rawson Thurber Marshall is the director, writer-director. It's one of those things where it's really, 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 really interesting. Mo Moon here saying Jarbo's bullying Dwayne Johnson again. I'm not bullying Dwayne Johnson. I'm just saying that this is the perfect time. This is the perfect time for the greatest entertainer on the planet to be able to come on out and just go bam. There's no push. There's no marketing. There's no big spectacle. It is The Rock, Gal, and Ryan, and they're all together. 3 people, top of their careers, all together in this movie right now. It should be blowing the fucking doors off of everything. But they opened it on the same weekend as The Eternals, which is just wild to me to think about, right? It's just wild to me to think about that. But they did. They opened it on the same weekend, The Eternals. And obviously Netflix isn't stupid, and Netflix realizes that they're not going to be making a lot of money off of this property. But this is, again, what the hell? This is kind of dumb on their part, if you want my honest opinion on this. But anyway, Shiny here with the $10 super chat. Thank you, buddy, here with $10. Says, what the fuck? Buyers can take back tips? Who the F does that? Cheapskate assholes do that, Shiny. Cheapskate assholes do that. You know, but that was frustrating from last night. But anyway, thank you for that, buddy. I really appreciate that. All right, let's see here. Okay. I'm just kind of checking it up there. Oh, okay. Taylor here says critics can be kind of off sometimes. Equilibrium is a 41% of Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah, but how many? Right? Like, that's my question, is how many people reviewed it, right? Equilibrium Rotten Tomatoes. Okay, let me take a quick look here. Equilibrium, it scored, if my browser would want to catch up with my thought process here. Okay, 41% over just 91 reviews. Whereas The Eternals, and I can just bring this up so we can actually see it here. The Eternals is currently at, what is it? It is currently at, hold on. All right. 49% with 285 reviews. So that is far, far different than it is when it comes to Equilibrium. Now, granted, the two films aren't even remotely comparable in regards to size, scope, scale, and when they came out. Equilibrium was early, 20 years ago. This is a brand new movie. It's the 24th film, 25th film, I forget now, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So obviously they are 26th movie. Maybe someone will correct me on that one in the chat. So, I mean, there's definitely a lot of stuff there. But 49% is not going well. 83% when it comes to the verified audience score. And that is crazy to me. That is crazy to me that what we're looking at here is a situation where the audience seems to really be digging it and the critics don't dig it. And this is Marvel. Now, I honestly thought here, guys, I really honestly thought that when the movie opened wide, all the critics, because there's like 6,600 verified Rotten Tomato critics. I thought when there was going to be 66, or when it opened wide, that this number would increase. It would get back up to 60% and it would stay there, that there'd be enough Marvel shows to come on out and to make it a thing. So I don't quite know. Siege Plays here asking the question, how much lower do you think the score could go? Well, on average for a lot of these movies, there's usually around, I want to say about 400. Let's take a quick look here. I'll just bring up. All right. Okay. Well, let's do Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi is the last one that came out. 92%, 98%, 313 ratings. for Shang-Chi. Okay, so obviously it's still more than Eternals, but Eternals, I mean, that's nipping at its heels. You're talking what, 28 different critics. Okay, let's take a look here. Black Widow, 79%, 437 reviews. All right, so 437 reviews. Okay, sorry if you guys can see that there. 437 reviews. That's well over. That's about 200. Oh no, about 150. Sorry, 150 over where Eternals is right now. If those 150 came in with positive reviews, those 150 could then probably bring it up to something a bit more. But let's take it. I just want to go further back to Endgame here, right? So Endgame had 547 reviews at a 94%. Now, is Eternals going to get 547 reviews? No, the answer to that is obviously not. What I think is really going on here is that what we're going to end up ultimately seeing is, probably around maybe the 300, 15 mark might be about that. I don't see Eternals really kind of hitting that number, anytime. I just don't at this point. I don't see it going fresh. No matter how much people are going to argue that like Disney is manipulating the numbers or Disney's doing this. I mean, it's all this nonsense people are saying. Literally all of this nonsense people are saying about this stuff, which is why tonight I thought it'd be fun to be kind of diving into some of those weird, odd, critical takes that we've seen. Holy shit, we're hitting 70 people. That's pretty fantastic for just kind of an impromptu late night Friday stream. If you guys want, be sure to slap on that like, because that's going to be a lot of fun here. Let's see. Maverick asking, did Grace Randolph put a spoiler in one of her thumbnails for Eternals? I don't know. All I know is apparently Chloe Zhao spoiled the final sequence today. The final one. I didn't even know about it. I read about it in I think it was like a Business Insider article. That's what the RSS feed had grabbed the original title. And then they had put the spoiler in the title. And I'm like, you guys got to be fucking kidding me. You guys have to literally be fucking kidding me that all of these outlets and people on Twitter, no problem spoiling the final credit sequence for the movie that just opened last night. I mean, granted, at this point, it's Marvel. Does anyone really care? I mean, obviously with who it is and what's going on, and I'm not going to say what it is because guess what? I'm not an asshole. It's definitely one that I think is interesting, and there's the implication of what's coming in the future, but it's still very kind of very stupid that people are doing that kind of stuff here. Let's see, a geeky nerd here says, Eternals are temporary. Dwayne The Rock Johnson is forever. I guess so, man. Maybe. Mia Jones here with a very interesting point. Thank you, Mia. Says comic book movies are becoming too redundant and predictable. I hope this isn't the beginning of the end. Here's why. Here's why I don't think this is the beginning of the end, Mia. Because one movie having a bit of a critical hit is not going to end up tanking everything. All right. The reason why is because the audience score for this thing is still, look at this. The audience score is still 83%. So it's 83%, 1,000 plus verified. And the way to get the verified ratings here on Rotten Tomatoes is you have to purchase through Fandango. And that is how you're able to then leave a rating behind. It's not a system that I really like. I wish they would expand to a more of a better verification system. But that is what it is right now. And again, the critic score, the audience score on that is only indicative of people who go and buy through Fandango, and that's not everybody. So these numbers are just that. They're just numbers, unfortunately. They don't really tell us much. Let's see. Geek in Review says, when it comes to Chloe Zhao, some motherfuckers are always trying to skate uphill. Not entirely too sure what you mean by that, Geek in Review. If you want to, are you saying that she skates uphill or that other people are criticizing her and that's an uphill battle? I don't quite know. I mean, look, you figured the fact that she won Best Director and Best Picture at the Oscars this year would have had an impact, right? It didn't because they're not the same caliber of movie. Nomadland is a slice of life human drama. This is a movie about a bunch of people who are eternal and kind of hung out until, they felt they had to show their face again. It's a quote from Blade. Oh, shut up. Damn it. Okay. So Eternals has a B cinema score, according to Caden Reed here. That's wow, man. Okay. A B cinema score. That's low. That is low for Marvel. I'm just kind of curious here. Let's go to cinemascore.com. Take a quick look at everything. If I even typed that in correctly, let me see. Yeah, that is all right. Let me bring that up here as we. Hopefully it will work. The website is kind of a bit laggy at the moment. Okay. Don't quite know what's going on with that. Website's down. Website's down. What the hell? Let me try to fix it. All right. Cinema Score. All right. Maybe this will work here. Okay. There we go. That works. I don't know what happened on that thing. Okay. So what we see here in Cinema Score is Eternals with a B. Let's take a look here at Black Widow. Black Widow 2021, A-. Okay. Shang-Chi. Oh my God. Do I have to hyphen? Okay, that's an A. All right. Let's try let's see, Thor the Dark World. What is this one looking at? No results. Okay. All right. Thor. Let's go Thor. Thor the Dark World, A-. Thor Ragnarok, A. Thor, a B+. Surprisingly. What about the Incredible Hulk? Oh my God. All right, Hulk. That got an A- even. All right, Captain Marvel. That got an A. All right, what's another weak? Okay, Ant-Man. Like Ant-Man. Ant-Man 2015, A. Ant-Man and the Wasp 2018, A-. So, I mean, a B cinema score is a pretty interesting thing at this point. It is a very interesting thing at this point. Remix asking if I've seen the movie. I haven't. I'm going to go see it tomorrow night. So that's the earliest I can get to it. TW asking, how does Cinema Score get its score? Well, if you take a look here, it should give us how they do it. Maybe they give us the thing here. Okay, so what is Cinema Score? For 40 years, Cinema Score has been measuring movie appeal by polling moviegoer reactions to major movie releases. The company calculates its Cinema Score movie grades for major movie releases in the US and Canada by polling a regionally balanced and statistically robust sample of opening night moviegoers. A movie's overall Cinema Score can range from A+ to F. Each opening weekend, Cinema Score polls moviegoers directly at theaters across North America, including Canada. Pollsters provide audience members with a ballot and 6 questions, including an A to F scale grade, purchase and rental interest, and demographic data. To answer these questions, moviegoers bend back tabs on the Cinema Score ballot instead of having to use a pen or pencil. After the movie ends, audience members return their ballots to Cinema Score's pollsters, who tabulate the data and send the results immediately to Cinema Score. Cinema Score is recognized by leaders in entertainment, news, and the media for establishing the simplest, most effective, and most reliable means of gauging audience response and movie appeal on opening night. Now, here's the thing with that, though. The thing with opening night, I find to be a bit on the relative problematic side, because it's opening night. Does that take into account, and I don't know this, does it take into account preview screenings? Because a preview screening is going to be something where people who are huge fans of a movie or a franchise are going to go during the early screenings, and you're going to get a probably much better skewed Cinema Score than not, rather than going on people who go on opening night. And people who go on opening night, is that just people who go to the prime show? The prime show being the roughly 7 to 8 p.m., your main movie, the main timeline. I don't know about that, because people go at different times a day. So this is an estimation of people who are polled, obviously, but it's almost like it's kind of skewed, because the people who are the diehards who are going to give it a higher rating tend to go the night before, but maybe that's not the intent. The intent obviously would be something like the normies. The normies are people who, this is maybe what they're rating here. I do think it's a bit of like I said, it's a bit of a flawed system, but obviously at this point, this is what people are kind of after, or what they're kind of into. According to Rational Skeptic here, Rotten Tomatoes needs to better vet who they accept as certified critics. Some of the critics' complaints, faux Eternal were BS. Well, that's the thing is though, but I get what you're saying there, buddy. The biggest problem with that has to do with, you're talking about like them curating people's opinions. And that's not inherently correct in my mind. You can disagree with something as much as you want. I think it's what you do with that information, which is where things are going to change. That's kind of how I view it. So people who did like the movie or didn't like the movie, in any conceivable. I mean, that's their own opinion. And what changes though, or what they have control over, is when they submit their review to Rotten Tomatoes. They're the ones who select the quote, and they're the ones that give it the fresh or the rotten rating. And they provide I think a 1 to 10 or a 4 to 5, whatever stars. So they provide a lot of information, and then the software or the AI, the algorithm will then it will compile it together, and that's how they get those percentages. I just find it to be very interesting that this is not going to be one of those ones where you're going to see a lot of that. Caden here says it should be open from Thursday to Sunday and release on Monday. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Just going on the opening night of a movie limits it. So if it's playing in, let's say, 4,400 screens nationwide, and what's its sample size? Its sample size are in a couple of places in the Northwest, or in North America, and other places in Canada. That is who they pull. If you want my honest opinion, they're probably pulling people in Los Angeles, San Francisco, New York, maybe Dallas, maybe Houston, maybe Miami. I mean, they're going to have it in large city centers, and they're going to be going to the theaters there that are the busiest. And then in Canada, you're probably looking at Vancouver, BC, and Toronto, maybe Montreal, maybe Calgary. I don't know what the fuck is in Saskatchewan these days. Probably nothing. Who knows? But you're right. They should expand it out to give us a better data set in order to be able to get a more accurate representation. But it's really not about that. I don't think it is really about them, doing any of that stuff. I really do feel that what it boils down to is simply they're trying to get the data out as fast as they can. And at this point, for how they want to go about it, they're probably just doing it on that front. You know what I mean? Like, they're just doing it as fast as they can. Let's see here. TW says a whole lot of grain in Saskatchewan. Not a lot of people, right, buddy? Just a lot of grain. Okay. I always kind of figured that Saskatchewan was Canada's flyover province. There's nothing much there. Although I do like saying Saskatchewan, and I look for every opportunity to actually be able to say it. So that is where I do that one. Mo Moon here says, I have a Rotten Tomato in the garbage. Does that count? To some people, maybe. To some people, maybe. Maybe that's how you're going to gauge things going forward here, buddy. Maybe that's what you're going to do. Who knows? Caden, I see that you say you might jump on, man. If you want to jump on, by all means, go for it. And I'm going to do the first reaction here. I want to talk about, I don't normally react to other YouTubers that often. I'm going to start doing more of it though, because I kind of feel like at this point you kind of have to. Some people just say really dumb things, and I want to test their knowledge. I really is what it boils down to here. So why don't we take a look at our good friend Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers here, talking about Eternals being banned in Middle Eastern countries for representation. That is the name of his video. Obviously, it's hyperbolic because that's what he can do. But if you didn't hear, the Eternals was banned in a couple of Middle Eastern countries because of the gay characters that were in the movie. That's why it happened. I don't know what his take on it is necessarily. I have an idea, but I could be wrong. All right. I have an idea. I could be wrong. Fourth asking, is Jarbo Tyrone Magnus now? No, I just want to call out some bad shit. I think it's about time to do that and everything. All right. Oh, we're joined by producer extraordinaire, Caden. How's it going, Caden?
Good. How are you?
Doing pretty good, man.
It's my first time on here.
I know. I'm taking your Hollywood After Dark virginity.
I know. Yeah. This is
how it begins.
Like, I've talked to you before, but it's like after streams and stuff, but I've never like talked to you on stream.
That's okay. I'm the same person.
Yeah, but exactly. But also, yeah, this whole Eternals thing, I was talking to someone who's like in Malaysia, and they said they even cut out like every kiss scene, like even if it's like just like it's a straight couple or whatever it is, they cut out like everything.
You can, I mean, that's the thing. A lot of the stuff you can actually very much kind of really work your way around, you know?
Yeah.
And the thing is, as much as I don't like it, other countries have their own regulations. I mean,
right.
You know, remember when Wonder Woman came out and the movie was banned in, I think, Lebanon because
Right.
Gal was Israeli.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like it, you know, and no one lost their mind back in 2017 outside of when, what was it? The Alamo Drafthouse wanted to have a female only screening of the movie. You
Right.
know, like
was
that was an outrage. I talked about it a bunch back then because it was so freaking ridiculous. But it's like the movie was banned in a country because Gal is Israeli and no one bats an eye. But, you know, a stupid company wants to sit there and like play this weird, dumb PR game and everyone freaking loses their shit.
Right.
So that is obviously.
Also, another thing is like the people are acting like a B score or a rotten score, or this whole thing is going to make Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige
yeah, that's actually going to be I think the next thing that we check out after this is going to end up ultimately being that particular type of argument. Because it's like so weird. It is super weird that people are saying that, to be honest with you. Like, just because, look, the movie might have a low Rotten Tomato score. Okay, fine. Right. Like that happens. You know, no movie is ever going to be safe from all the critics, no matter how much people out there try to do. All right. This movie might be a little bit too overly ambitious for all that. I don't know. But as we talked about, with 1,000+ verified ratings with an 80% over there, the movie still pulled in $9.5 million in Thursday previews, which beat out both Shang-Chi and Black Widow.
And I also think they projected 90 million for the overall.
Oh, really? I haven't seen the projections yet.
So I think Assad, like the head of Disney marketing, like quote tweeted an article or something about it. It was like something like that. It was like, oh wow, that's nice. Like the movie
I'm looking at here. It's $75 million opening.
Okay.
Which would put it in the same realm as Shang-Chi and Black Widow. Shang-Chi got 75.4 million. Black Widow got 80.4 million. But then again, also 60 million in Disney Plus, the premiere package there for Black Widow that no one ever really likes to talk about. Never mind, at the end of all that, in the first 30 days, that doubled on Disney Plus. It went from 60 million to 120 million that Disney just got a pocket outside of whatever they paid Scarlett Johansson when they settled that damn lawsuit.
Right.
So you've definitely got that thing going on here. But okay, why don't we dive into what Jeremy has to say? Because I am genuinely curious about what his take is in regards to a movie getting banned for gay representation in a country that is, you know, generally is run by people who would rather throw you off a rooftop for being homosexual than share a dinner table with you. So let's find out more.
Sing gamers, it's Jeremy coming to you with another video, this time a truck video from the great state of Arizona tonight. Myself
can confirm both trucks in Arizona suck.
Truck video.
Yeah, I can't
truck
clapping
video.
Like, what is he? Is he a seal? Is someone gonna like toss him a fish?
It's like he's a seagull. It's like the seagull from Finding Nemo. Mine.
Well, here's my question though. Is he? I mean, as a person, I snap when I want to mark my my audio points for being able to edit. So maybe that's him. He's just clapping. But then again, a guy by himself in his truck talking into his phone and clapping like an idiot. Well, it's Arizona. It's Arizona.
I just imagine the people walking by seeing him do this, and they're like, "What is this guy doing?"
Well, they're probably just happy they can see both of his hands.
Yes.
That is probably where
they're like, okay, he's clapping.
All right, cool. He's not doing anything inappropriate. But then again, like I said, it's Arizona. And if he's in Maricopa County, it's even worse.
Gary from Nerdrotic, RK Outpost Ryan. We will be at the in-game bar in Mesa, Arizona for our fans.
Okay, yeah, they are out there in Maricopa.
Short notice. We threw this thing together very, very quickly. But we're looking forward to meeting a few of you out here. Heard from a lot of you, and
I don't care.
Really important trees. That's right. And development based on this trip right here. Thank you guys. But today we're talking about the Eternals, because the Eternals has been banned from Middle Eastern countries. That's right. Oh my goodness. How is this possible? How is this possible? First of all, why are you pandering to Middle Eastern countries if they are so against representation and diversity?
Now, okay, I don't know where he goes with this, to be honest with you, but his argument in the beginning absolutely proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that he doesn't know necessarily what he's talking about.
Yeah, he is.
That could change. He could have a coming to Jesus moment where it kind of clicks and he's like, oh wait.
Right.
But like,
he has the clappy moment where he's like, in his brain is like, Jeremy, get it together.
Yeah. It's all like, okay, hold on. What is my NPC script right here going to say?
Right.
What talking points from Nerdrotic am I going to take because I don't have an original thought in my brain? Exactly. And I don't want to piss off the Dark Lord of the Fandom Menace.
He's like, I don't want to piss off my Dark Lord Boomcock.
Is he clapping SOS? Is that what it is? Is it Morse code? Is he calling for help? Jeremy, take off your glasses and blink twice if you're in danger.
I think we need to put his clapping through some Morse code and see
what happens.
See, it's like
just
like,
send it off to some Navajo wind talkers and see what they come back with. That would be something.
Yeah, he's saying he needs help.
I mean,
Doomcock is behind me and points a gun. It's like, okay.
Oh man, yeah. Taylor here saying the worst clap on, clap off ad ever. I know it is. All right, let's.
Oh my goodness, this is so funny. Now, over on geeksandgamers.com, Lyndon has an article. It says, according to the Hollywood Reporter, Marvel's newest MCU edition, Eternals, has been banned from Middle Eastern countries, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Qatar. The Hollywood Reporter states that the film may have been removed for the LGBTQ plus representation in countries where that is still illegal. Certain aspects are still illegal.
Like, is he saying like he literally has no idea that in Saudi Arabia they will? I'm not even fucking making this up. They will throw you off a rooftop if you are gay.
Yeah, it's not like oh, it's illegal. You can throw in jail. No, you get killed.
Yeah.
It's not like some funny little thing. Oh, you get put in jail for a year or two, or you put in conversion therapy or anything. No, you get killed. It's not like some like ha ha ha. Like,
in Chechnya, it's which is basically an Islamic run section of Russia, or the Russian Empire, Russian Federation. Sorry, they actually have been busted with gay concentration camps.
Yeah,
so it's like in that part of the world. If you gay, you probably ain't okay because they're going to be coming for you. And so, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself here and accuse him of just
something that we been saying.
Yeah. So I'm just like, okay, at least for people out there who don't know, if you are gay in the Middle East, it is not good.
Yeah.
So, and then Brownstones here says someone should tell him that the U.S. has strong economic ties with the Saudis. Just to see his mind blown even further.
Oh
yeah. Someone should just say Jamal Khashoggi sends his regards.
Yeah.
Because, Saudis killed him in Turkey, and the U.S. government, even though he was basically a U.S. Resident, did nothing and just kind of looked the other way at the fact that a U.S. journalist was dismembered in the basement of the Turkish embassy. So, fun times.
Fun times.
Anyway, let's keep going with this. I really have a problem with a lot of the way that people are treated in other countries. All right.
Sources suggest the decision was made likely over the inclusion of a same-sex couple in the film and the MCU's first gay superhero. Wow. It's almost like this is what Disney has been trying to pander to for so long. They give us these scenes with the gay character or a scene with the black character, but they can carefully edit that out for Middle Eastern countries or China so they can make more money. And now seeing them get banned for their diversity, yet you want to say people in the U.S. are so toxic because we have an opinion. The whole thing about Eternals, and it's a rotten movie, by the way, on Rotten Tomatoes. Not that the critics matter. It's just funny to watch the same.
They don't matter, but he talks about them an awful lot.
He again, it's like he says they don't care, but then he'll go on a live stream with like his buddies and stuff and talk about how the critics are right. And
yeah. Music Man here is right. He's like, he doesn't know what he's talking about at all. You could hear that in the way that he jumped from one to another.
Yeah.
Like that's a really weird transition of all like Disney's been pandering.
What do you
and okay, but pandering to who? by cutting out LGBT representation in, let's say, Beauty and the Beast after it was banned in Russia? Or what about when Russia banned The Rise of Skywalker because it had the two women kiss at the end, or they cut it out so it wouldn't get banned? There's the accusations that they minimized Finn on the poster of the Force Awakens, which there are some evidence to back that up. There's even recently saying that they did the same thing to the Dune poster in China. There's a game developer I know named American McGee, who did the American McGee's Alice for EA back in the day. He was actually I think he's in Malaysia, and those posters are everywhere, complete with that actress being where she was. So there's a lot there that, again,
so it's like it doesn't have Zendaya on it at all.
No, Zendaya is there. It's not Zendaya. It's another actress. She's the other Fremen, like the politician character, basically, or like the liaison character. Yeah.
That they both and gender swapped. Right.
Yeah. Did they? I don't remember. I'll to be honest with you. I mean, I thought she was fine in the movie. I need to watch it again.
I still haven't seen it, but
it's good. It's not woke at all, regardless of what people tried telling you beforehand. All right. Why is McGee in Malaysia? Because he doesn't want to be here in the States, basically. He's a nice guy. We've been pals for a couple of years.
Panther wearing his mask on Chinese posters.
Yeah, I know. Oh, wow. I know. Yeah, remix. Yeah. I know. They just, you know what? I mean, look, marketing have you ever seen like different marketing from different countries and stuff? It's very interesting. So anyway, let's continue, because I'm having trouble kind of comprehending what he's trying to say, but I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, because apparently it's not nice of me to make fun of ill-educated people.
Same shill critics calling out this film for the garbage that we have consistently called MCU and Disney out for, and now even the shilliest of shills are calling this movie out. But the point here is that Eternals, no one, at least from my perspective and the people that I interact with, no one's upset that there's a gay person in the movie, because that's not, anyone that thinks that is not operating with everything upstairs, because that's never really anyone's problem. You know, one of my favorite musicians is Elton John. Do I care that Elton John is gay? No, it literally doesn't matter to me. I love the man's music. I think he's one of the greatest performers of all time. He's an all-timer. Everyone loves at least a few Elton John songs.
That's a bit of a false equivalence. Elton John's been openly homosexual for years.
Yeah, and also I think he just like took the first like gay artist that popped in his brain.
Yeah, if you want to go like, let's say, deep into it, right? And maybe more of a contemporary take would be Ricky Martin.
Yeah.
Because Ricky Martin, oh my God, huge sex symbol back in the 90s, right? Like living la vida loca. Like that was big, you know, and then all of a sudden it comes out as gay, and it's like, no one cared, but it you know, that would have been something worth going like, oh, that's a thing.
And like, it was just like, he's like, and also like, wasn't he also one of the, like, didn't he like go live on Geeks and Gamers, like, and talk about how the whole gay couple is affecting the reviews or something like that?
I don't know. I try not to watch them. I just kind of caught part of this.
I think it was because I think Enosh was reacting to
okay.
Or something like that.
Okay. So that is so ridiculous. It's like it's again, the movie, if I've looking at the rotten scores over there, what they've talked about predominantly is the fact that so many like the movie is just, it's way too much lore, it's way too long, and it's kind of a slog.
Yeah.
That's about it.
I mean, like I was talking to my dad about this, like how Chloe Zhao, all of her two previous movies has been focusing on one character and their movement throughout their world and whatever.
Yeah.
And how then this kind of her doing this big project like this, it's concerning, but at the same time it's very interesting, you know? It's like, okay, let's see how she is able to take focus on one character in one scene that they have a bunch of people in, you know?
Yeah. Well, Jeremy here, also Rishi here makes a great point. Jeremy did put that video out there talking about the IMDb review score bombing, saying like, no, these are just passionate fans upset with the product. And it's like, none of y'all bitches have seen the fucking movie.
Yeah.
And you're all talking about the gay part of it. So how can it, what would you call that? What would you call it if people don't like something for being gay? kind of homophobic.
That,
you know, it's that's what it is. But then he goes, "Oh, I don't have any problem if there's a gay person in the movie because I love Elton John."
Right. He loves Elton John, Jarbo. I think he's fine.
Okay. But did you notice though? Did you notice that slip? There was a slip there when he says the people that I talk to, the people that he talks to, are all in many instances absolutely worse than he is in regards to this culture war shit. Like, Jeremy has always said, I'm never the leader. He's always been a vocal entity. He still is a vocal entity, and people,
he's
a thought leader.
In this group.
Yeah, but it's like you can tell he's still, but he's also openly admitted to never taking the first step to talking about something. So, and this is a great defense for him, right? It's the I'm retarded defense. This is what he does. He's literally admitted this before. What he'll do is they have, and this is from my understanding of it, there's like a Discord, there's a chat, they're all in the chat. And a lot of them will throw out links to this stuff, right? They'll throw out links to, like different articles, bounding into comics, whatever. They'll find those stories, those little stories. The little minions, they'll go and they'll make videos about it. And if one starts getting traction, if the story starts picking up amongst the crew, then Jeremy will come in and he'll talk about it. So he waits for it, like he sits there like a vulture and he just perches and he just waits for a carcass to fall and for the hyenas to feast. And then he dives on it. And then he doesn't come up. He goes in balls deep and just stays there until like it's just a husk, a rotting, like festering carcass.
A pool cleaner brush. He waits until all the gunk is there to clean it.
Yeah.
Until it's clean. And
so what you're saying is that he has the mentality of a Roomba.
Yes.
But that's the thing is though, but that's the reality of it is like he's lazy. He's lazy. And even this, he's reading off an article that somebody wrote on his website. And he's still not even getting the concept of everything just yet.
Had a website.
Yeah, that's because he's preparing for when he eventually gets booted off of YouTube to try to get people to go over to his website and to pay $10 a month. $10 a month to be a member over on there. It's like, do you guys like access to the forums? Then pay $10 a month to be able to post GIFs.
Do you like our version of QAnon?
Chewbacca.
Right,
it's Chewbacca. By the way, this is the official Chewbacca logo.
Yes.
Put forward by Mace Randolph. So there's that.
But yeah, like Tony said, him using Elton John as acting to I'm not racist, I have a black friend.
Yeah, kind of.
Or like what Rishi said, I hate black characters in this movie, but I love Michael Jordan. It's like,
yeah, I mean, well, I don't know if I say that far. I'm not going to say that far yet because like, I don't think Jeremy has any problem with gay people.
Right.
But I think what it is though, is like, I think what it boils down to is if somebody goes, I'm gay, and that's why it's important to have a character like this in the movie. Then he's like, whoa, Mo, whoa. Why are you making this political, man? Right. And he's like, but he'll go like, I love the prequels. Never mind. It was a scathing critique of the Bush administration. That's political. Oh wait, I love the original Star Wars trilogy. My God. A New Hope is one of my all time favorite movies. The USA was actually the Imperial. Sorry. The Empire was actually us. And the good guys were actually the Viet Cong. Oh my God, the original was woke. Very anti-war.
Star Wars is very political.
Star Wars is not about war. What are you talking about? That's not even right. Taylor here says that's an insult to Roombas. Roombas are great. They serve a useful purpose. Well played, sir. Well played. All right, let's keep going.
You know what I mean? So there's nothing wrong with people being gay. I don't care about that, and most normal people don't care about that. It's the virtue signaling. It's the pandering. It's the fact that this Eternals cast and the crew have done everything in their power to pander and virtue signal around the identity of the characters. They can't stop telling you about how important this is in all of their red carpet premiere or interviews and all of that. They can't stop saying the most ridiculous things. Go watch Gary from Nerdrotic's latest video on Eternals. It's a fantastic video, as all Gary's videos are, but he's got clips of all of these interviews where they just can't stop saying diversity, inclusion, representation. This movie's going to save lives. This movie's going to be the most important movie of all time. That's what people are tired of. It's not that.
So what does that have to do with it being banned in the Middle East for representation?
Also, I think it's very important that they very much say that concept.
Oh no! At this point, he's talking off a script. I mean,
Yeah.
like I love to joke that the Fandom Menace is just NPCs. And they love, you know.
I like how he also self-advertises his friend's channel.
Yeah, well, because that's the thing. It's like, go check out Nerdrotic's videos. It's a really good video, as all of his videos are. I don't have any actual original thought in my brain, but I'm just gonna go look at what he does because that's where I get my info.
Write down all these notes from his video and this other person's video and this article and compile into one script and say, let's put the first 1 minute about the title and then the rest of the 6 minutes of it is just about the notes I took about these videos.
Yeah, he has not given an opinion about what happened. And he hasn't even talked about
my writer on this and my friend on this.
And he has not even talked about what has happened. He just said that it's banned. And he hasn't even said why yet.
No.
I mean, like, that's the thing. We're literally 4 minutes into this video. And you know what? Like, that clip from like Billy Madison comes to mind. I award you no points.
Oh yeah.
And what I forget that, you know, but may God we're all dumber, and may God have mercy on your soul. McLeod here with a $5 Canadian. Thank you, buddy. Says, whatever's left of Jeremy's humanity and his IQ ran down the crack of his mama's arse and ended up as a brown stain on the mattress. Wow. That's very graphic, sir.
That is very graphic.
It's very graphic. That is, I mean, whatever's left of Jeremy's humanity is absolutely tied in to Geeks and Gamers. I mean, like, he's gone so far off the deep end. It's laughable. But I do want to hope that in the next minute and a half, he is able to get to the fucking point. Yeah, and I'll give him the credit. I'll give him the attempt at that, okay? Because look, the thing is, I don't think Jeremy is an unintelligent person. I do think he's a lazy idiot, but I don't think that there's not any kind of intelligence there. He knows how to play the game well enough to be able to get where he's been able to get to. But it's like, come on, buddy. I at this point, I'm rooting for you to not let me down. That's what I'm rooting for Jeremy Griggs to not let me down. I want him to knock it out of the park. I want to stop this. I literally have not seen this video. I want to stop this video when it's over, and I want to go, finally, he makes a salient point. I'm prepared to be disappointed though, Caden. I'm not going to lie.
I'm like, be prepared.
Yeah, well, see, Spherical Man here makes a great point. When you go to an NPC in a game, they always say the same thing. Yeah,
there's like 2 or 3 alternatives, and it's only those.
Yeah, you get a couple of variations of it, and then it's just back to the same repeat.
But it's basically the same thing.
Oh yeah, I called Nerdrotic an NPC one time a few months back or whatever, and man, they all lost their shit at that one too. It's so funny. They all got so mad at me for saying it because I'm right. Oh. I'm right, and they're wrong, and that's the reality of it. But
they all act dumb.
They act dumb because it covers their ass. You know, if they ever got brought in for any kind of, like, let's say they were brought in for a civil suit for, you know, for slander or libel, they would just be like, no, Your Honor, I was only acting retarded.
Right. They'd be like
that's their defense.
It was just my attitude.
Yeah, they're gonna try the Chewbacca defense.
Right.
You see, this is Chewbacca. Chewbacca didn't kill nobody. Anyway, let's see. Mia Jones here says Star Wars early movies had diversity, but they didn't broadcast it, or they did broadcast it in your face way. So I can understand what they're saying to an extent. But it's like diversity in movies that doesn't really matter. Like I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you want something to be seen as normal and to be treated as normal, if you want something to be seen as normal, you have to treat it as normal. That's how you do it. Right. That's how the conversation changes. That's why we're able to get to these progressive areas within our society. But what they're doing. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I said this on one of our shows that like diversity has always been like kind of last, but now it's like up front more, where that now it like people are treating it should be first or second, but I think it should be between the second and third, where the story should be first,
Yeah.
And these people are acting like it's like number 0 or 1 when it's really
I know
2 or 3, and it's like they're like.
The thing is, this is the thing. I really do not like the marketing lead up to films. For one, most actors are pretty, I don't want to say they're vapid, but they're just not interesting. It's like the average person isn't that interesting. You know, so it's, oh, you're in this movie. That's kind of cool. What can you tell me about the movie? Oh, I can't tell you anything about the movie because it's so full of spoilers that I don't want to ruin it for anybody. Oh, okay. It's like, so then why the fuck are you here?
Exactly. I think that's also kind of the reason why with No Way Home, they're like kind of shortening the marketing, because it's like, if we do it any longer, then press stuff is going to be longer, and then we're going to have Tom Holland in an interview for a month and a half, and he's going to spoil something in the last half.
Well, so then that's a valid concern considering. But then again, today apparently Chloe Zhao spoiled like the second end credit scene on her Twitter. So yay for that. But I guess what it really boils down to here, though, is what I think the problem is that because, like, let's say one person, it's an echo effect, right? So, like, let's say, because Kamal Nanjiani came out as gay. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
He came out as gay. He's been in an 11-year relationship with it now his partner, who is his fiance.
Oh, wait, do you mean
Cal Penn.
I know
Cal Penn. My mistake. That is so bad.
Like, Camille Nanjiani.
Camille. He's married. I don't know why I got him straight. I was thinking about it because we're talking about the representation thing, and I totally boned that comparison. That's my mistake. No. It's not that they look alike. I was just thinking we're talking about representation. We're talking about representation, and it's mostly just like, but again, it's like
Cal Penn.
Cal Penn came out as gay. Thank you. That's my mistake. I was like, my bad. I legitimately embarrassed on that one right there, because that was an honest mistake. But the thing is ultimately, yeah, I know the chat spherical man here. No, it's not that all Indians look the same. It's not all. Shut up.
Now people are gonna use that against you, Jarbo.
Probably.
Jarbo
and it's an honest mistake. It's midnight and I'm tired. Mo here asking,
with Camille and
no, Cal Penn, Harold and Kumar, Kamal Nanjiani, Stuber, freaking the Big Sick, or no, was he in the one, the sick one?
Was it Camille Nanjiani in Big Sick?
It was the Big Sick. It might have been called the Big Sick. But he was, he was in Silicon Valley, which is great.
Yeah.
And I like his comedy.
Camille's amazing.
Yeah, he's a funny guy. And people are really going after him for his body type at this point, which is like not cool. It's like, as a fat guy, I would love to be loomed at, I'd like to go get that Marvel diet, you know what I mean? Right. And then like get all ripped for a movie, and then everyone's like, oh my God, look at the transformation from fat to look fit.
At the transformation from 2015 and 2020.
Yeah,
like he said that, like he said himself, like he's been working out since like even before he was contacted.
Oh yeah.
And like, this is just, he pulled a Chris Pratt, where Chris Pratt was been working out. And
apparently everybody hates Chris Pratt. That's a whole other subject, though. It's a whole other subject on that one. But anyway, Mo here asking, are Jeremy and the Quartering the same person? No, they're not. Brothers. They're not, though. TW here says Nanjiani pulled a Chris Pratt. I know. And I'll tell you this, though. It's yes, Nanjiani is Pakistani, not Indian. I was trying to refer to the comment there. I know not all South Asians are the same. Let's move on here. You guys are just busting my balls here. All right. You guys are just busting my balls. Debate Jeremy anytime, anywhere, 100%. When I'm not in my car out on my delivery job.
And you're going to say,
Jesus,
this is a car debate. This is a
car debate. I'm just gonna like Morse code. You go and get served, I guess, because like now we're going back to early 2000s. But all right, let's take it home, Jeremy. Come on, don't let me down, Jeremy. Come on, you can do it. You're not in your pool house. I believe in you.
There's a gay character in the movie. It's the fact that they cannot stop using the sexuality, using the race, using gender, using sexual orientation, all of this stuff for their virtue signaling points. That's what people are tired of. And now the Middle East is banning this movie. Oh my gosh. It's the same thing you always see, that meme with the companies where they change all of their avatars over to the pride flag, except for in Middle Eastern countries where they have their companies located. They don't have those changed over because they don't actually believe in what they say. It's all nonsense. And I'm loving it. So,
wow. Okay, I'm disappointed, as I knew I would be. I was prepared for that, but I didn't think he was going to go as bad as he went there.
He's like, oh, they don't believe in what they are saying or whatever. I'm like, again, it's showing that he doesn't know what the Middle East views on this group of people. Like,
yeah,
it just shows more and more how little research he's done.
Well, no, there's no research there. It's all like,
the only research he's done is
look,
the Nerdrotic video and
Nerdrotic is an idiot. I mean, Nerdrotic is like, I mean, guaranteed, he's a moron. I've listened to him try to argue, like randomly one of his videos played in the background and he was talking about Lord of the Rings. I'm like, all right, whatever. And then he starts talking about like how like critical race theory is going to be coming to the Lord of the Rings show. And I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? Like I perked up so fast on that one. I'm like, wait, what?
Right.
Like, hold on, back, let's go back. Let's take a listen to this again. But no, so Jeremy not understanding that the reason why it was banned is he's basically saying that Disney will virtue signal, which is all companies virtue signal. Let's be fair.
Yeah.
All companies do. But what they're doing, instead of editing out the gay guys or a kiss or whatever, they said no, and they left it in there. And so they got banned in these countries. Right. Because they didn't virtue signal. They didn't bow down to these countries. And so they're doing effectively like what you want them to do, which is standing by their original product and not altering it for a foreign market. Yeah. Except he doesn't understand literally any of that.
No.
And this is just him like, I need to make a video and I'm going to say some shit. And Rishi here makes a great point. Nerdrotic is the InfoWars of YouTube movie critics. Like, honestly, I thought it was Doomcock for a while, but yeah, no, Nerdrotic is straight up like, hey, everyone, let's go storm Lucasfilm.
Oh my.
Okay, hold on. Outlaw here says, well, where it matters the most in a hateful, brutal territory that executes gay people, Disney showcases heroes, and where heroism and hope matters the most, they neglect. Can you explain that a bit more, Outlaw? I am interested in your take, to be honest with you. I'm just trying to figure out what you mean by that. So where it matters the most in a hateful, brutal territory that executes gay people, Disney showcases heroes, and where heroism and hope matters the most, they neglect it. But what do you mean what that matters the most, they neglect it?
Like, are you trying to say that these Middle Eastern places need this movie to show that it's okay, but that Disney is like saying no?
Yeah, because Disney's not the one saying no.
No, it's the Middle Eastern government's rating system of movies.
Yeah, that's why
in Malaysia they cut out every single scene of everyone kissing and if anyone talks about kissing or anything, or like they also said like they cut out one scene that made some other scenes make not really any sense. I'm like, yikes.
Oh no, China when Alien Covenant came out, they took out like I think like 70 to 90% of the xenomorph in the movie.
Wow.
So it's like it just jumps around and makes no sense. It's like, yeah, and you wonder why Chinese made films are doing better in the worldwide box office. Like honestly, because like they're not like they're created for that environment, but then it's more, I guess you could say translatable. I guess I don't quite know. So I'm just kind of curious. Yeah, like now Taylor here says thinks he realizes his whining is getting the movie free attention. Therein lies a very interesting question, Taylor, and it's one I've been thinking about as well. So I've been thinking about this, like, again, in regards to, let's say, Spider-Man Far From Home, right? Or No Way Home. There is the popularity of the leak economy, right? And there is a leak economy because that leak economy is fueling popularity. And I'll give you a prime example of this. Venom, 2 weeks before its release, Venom 2 was tracking at $40 million. Then they do a special screening of the movie, a fan screening in London with like 30 people.
And like they say, don't
leak the ending.
Post-credit scene.
What happens next?
Comes out. It comes out. It literally like audio or like not audio.
Yeah, no, they had audio. Someone had recorded the audio of, and then like someone
like just went on Reddit and like completely posted the whole like description, and then a week later, like the whole video just of it leaked.
Yep. Just like, and then Sony was trying to shut it down. And then all of a sudden, Sony started playing into it. The marketing was like, opening up the universe, blah, 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 blah. Or the universe is getting bigger, things along those lines.
It's like, stay for the post-credit scene.
Yeah, exactly. Stay for the post-credit scene. And then what happened, that movie makes like $90 million in its opening weekend because it had the Spider-Man, it had Spider-Man's push. And then what happens? We get all these leaks about No Way Home. They drop the Morbius trailer, and that blows up too, because that's going to be tied into Spider-Man No Way Home. And if you think about it, and we know that Spider-Man No Way Home is looking like it might be the first $1 billion movie during the pandemic. I don't think so. I think high 800s is going to be maybe what it goes for worldwide.
Yeah.
But again, that movie is going to have so much going for it because of the implementation of what's going to be coming next, using what we know about the movie is Daredevil in the movie, right? Everyone says he's in it, right? We don't know. But
there's a lot of questions for this movie. Is Daredevil
that's all I care about. That's literally all I care about. Is Daredevil in the movie? I don't care. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, just show me
right.
Like, show me Charlie Cox. It doesn't even need to be in a suit. Just let me know that he still lives. Right. Like, give me the hope as a fan that he still lives. That's all I care about. But yeah, that Venom, and then like bringing Toby and Andrew and all that other stuff that could potentially be happening. Right. All that leak economy, all of that hype is propelling the Spider-Man properties. And maybe that's the biggest problem with Eternals right now, is the fact that it is not related to Spider-Man. And if it was,
what also is a factor is that people don't seem to not really care for some of these new characters that are being introduced. Like,
well, yeah, and I think it's because also it's a very the thing with them has a lot to do with oh God, what's the word I want to use here? It has a lot to do with, like, yeah, these aren't very well known.
Right.
These aren't very well known situations, characters right now. And even the runs themselves have not been, very well loved over the years. And obviously there's going to be, there's implementations for what's going to be coming down the pipeline. And there's implementations of everything else that's going to be happening as a result of all of this. So I get that, but it's still, this is one that might not do very well now, but in the coming years, as we see more of the characters, as we see more Black Knight, as we see the whatever, ripples outward of this movie, then you're going to get a lot more people coming into it.
Join the Avengers, they'd be like, oh, let's see where Cersei came from, and then watch this movie to see, like, whatever,
Yeah.
But yeah.
So let's see here. Captain James Biggins says, Gary knows he's losing ground here with the Friday Night Tights. Also, give it 5 years and no one will remember the Fandom Menace. They'll bury themselves. Here's the thing with that, though. You can tell they're trying to they're trying to find a pivot point. And I think Alex Jones was their pivot point, because they're trying to, they can only take this crap so far. The better the content is, then they're not going to have a point to attack it.
Oh, no. That's the thing, like the whole with Book of Boba Fett and coming out soon, and then their whole attack on Kevin Smith with the Masters of Universe thing, and then how, like, that whole the trailer for part 2 is like completely debunking their whole, oh, this is woke stuff. They're turning Tila into He-Man and stuff like that. Like, it's like everything that they've like tried to say about these things are like coming up with content is debunking everything that they theorized or speculated or want to say that these companies are doing. Like,
yeah.
It's showing their true colors about how they're just spewing out lies and of hate, or of confusion,
Well, they're pushing the divide because they know that that's where they're going to get the most of their the most of their money, and they know that that's going to be the best way for them. And it's kind of ridiculous that it's been able to last as long as it has. I think in the fallout of Trump, there's definitely a lot has gone on. You're looking at the concept of like the Stop the Steal stuff, because that's something Jeremy was heavily pushing on his political channel, leading up to the inauguration, and then of course the insurrection itself. And there was that rewriting Ripley article that came out that very kind of, the thing is that the rewriting Ripley article was kind of like, it was really kind of like banal. It wasn't much there, but it was enough to like put a spotlight on them to where they freaked the hell out. And ever since then, like, Jeremy's like, I no longer identify as Fandom Menace. And I no longer, they're trying to avoid the Fandom Menace terminology.
They'll never get away from the Fandom Menace terminology in the next years come,
Yeah.
People always know Jeremy and those like everyone in that group as Fandom Menace, no matter what next thing they become fans of and then start criticizing, they'll always be known as the Fandom Menace.
Well, no, that's, I mean, it's like, the thing is, a lot of us who do this kind of crap are going to end up, like I'm probably never not going to be called Mundane Matt at some point in time, no matter how much I want to get the hell away from it, it's probably not going to happen. And there's people out there who just aren't going to let me forget it. And you know what? I can't do much about that. So It is what it is. But again, it's like, yeah, you can sit there, you can't really put lipstick on a pig as much as you might want to. And that is what they're going to try to do, which is why they've probably gone as far as they can to try to, pivot the way that they can.
Yeah. Like you said, like they've gone as far to have Alex Jones on their show and like that whole show was just like, it was like 6 hours of just them talking about some random stuff. And I was just like, okay.
Well, for Alex, it was an infomercial.
Yeah.
That's what it was. For Alex, it was an infomercial. It was
grab their audience to come to watch his podcast.
That's what it was. That's
them, it was a big celebration. We got our leader on our podcast, guys. Like, God.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of the big point of that too. Is like for him, it was an infomercial. For them, it was a cash grab. And that's what's going on here. Now, Javier says the Trump era will affect our movies ongoing further, or will affect our movies going further left. I don't know if they're going to go further left. I think we're going to see a lot in regards to like, maybe like being more vocal about like climate change and stuff. I think that's going to be a big one. This is great. This is great. Rishi here says Jeremy anti-censorship, pro free speech. Eternals gets banned. Jeremy laughs and mocks.
Exactly.
Yep.
He's only anti-censorship or / pro free speech when it's something that he likes and enjoys.
Yeah.
But if it's something that he is unknowing about or confused about, he's like, or just hates, he's like, haha, that's funny that I got banned or censored. Like, well, what if, someone's going to do this? Someone's like, we are laughing at him for, for laughing at stuff that he is against, but then
it's like, again, if he gave me, again, like I said, I was hoping he was going to surprise me, but it shows you a lack of intelligence. And so let's move on to talk about some more lack of intelligence here. If you are unfamiliar with this next person, oh my God. Okay. I have to ask, are you familiar with the person named Cameron Pasha?
Yes. Very.
Okay.
Very
So I got a message this morning that Midnight's Edge was live talking about the Eternals and that like Cameron was running his mouth again. And we reacted to this a couple weeks ago. There might be spoilers here for the Eternals. I honest to God do not know. So that is just your warning. I personally don't really care if it gets spoiled at this point because the end credit scene was already spoiled.
I know the whole movie.
I don't even really care, to be honest. But this is like, it's like No Way Home I care about, even though I feel I probably know everything. Yeah. But this one I could literally like, I don't care. But anyway, so this is from the stream today, Eternals reactions and Feige versus Bob Chapek over the MCU featuring Cameron Pasha. So, okay. If you guys remember last time when we talked about this, I think just last week, again, it was talking about Kevin Feige versus the MCU or versus Bob Chapek over the MCU. And there's no evidence given. It's just words. And I think he's back at it again today. You hold on here. Outlaw.
He loves to talk about like a head of a studio under this company against everyone.
Yeah, it's so weird. But Outlaw here, I just want to get to this point. It says here, Jeremy's point of these companies and their pride stuff that they don't support what they believe. And it's seen in the Middle East. They pretend to be morally good, yet avoid confronting morally evil. Here's the thing with that, though, man.
Here's a corporation against a country.
Yeah, exactly. And in order to be able to operate within those countries, they have to abide by those countries' laws. So right. Are there laws here in the United States that you vehemently disagree with? Not unless you're running for office to try to change how that plays out. Maybe you shut the fuck up because You know, you can not like them, vocalize you're not liking them, but don't sit there and play the moral high card because you're not doing anything to change it. They're kind of in the same boat. They have shareholders, they have employees. They do it where they do it. I'm not saying it's all good. I think Pride Month, the pushing to support Pride Month is kind of ridiculous. I do. I think soon as June 1st rolls around, everyone throws out a pride flag. July 1st rolls around, they take it all down again. It is what it is. Everyone kind of mocks them. Everyone kind of laughs at it, but that doesn't stop the fact. What people are mocking is that they're not doing more to change. That it does come across as lip service, but in this movie, what they're doing is not lip service.
No.
So
also, like that whole thing when it's again, like, you know, Pride Month comes around, you put the flag up, and then once it's over, they take the flag down, and it's like, and it's just, you know, like it just seems like they're just trying to show face that, you know, they're like, oh yeah, we support it during this month and during this month only.
No, they support. I mean, they support it all year, but it's
like,
but everything now has a month. Everything now has a day, and I'm just going to be honest with you. Most people don't care. You know, I mean, like, look, you know, support for, you know, people, I guess support for the LGBT community is the highest it's ever been. But at the same time, no one cares about Pride Month. Like no one who's not, you know, like, you know, straight people don't go to Pride. Well, straight people do go to Pride parades, but it's not like a lot of straight people go to Pride parades. It's not like
mostly allies.
Yeah, it's mostly allies. And I think
full on allies.
Yeah.
Like,
you know,
like someone who, you know, but it's like allies.
And that's great. That's perfectly fine. But I mean, you know, it's kind of like it's like BLM had a big push back in 2014. I don't want to say it's irrelevant, but it has evolved into now more of a social movement that is present, but it's not as big as it once was. It's not that people don't care. It's just that they've learned to live with it. And like, okay, you know, that's really what it boils down to here. Is like most people just don't want to be fucking bothered.
Right. It's like like you're saying, like it's one of those things where, you know, you learn to live with that idea now. You're just like, okay, yeah, this has to happen, but it's not like I'm going to go crazy again.
Yeah, you know? Exactly. It's kind of redundant. Remix here with a great point. Bob Chapek definitely wants to fire the most successful producer in Hollywood history. Source, trust me, bro. I know.
I mean, he's in the top 20 producers of like, not even, I think even the top 15 actually. Like, why?
Yes, Gargets, you are correct. It's commercialized. That's the other thing too. People have, It's like, you know, this last February, I went to my local JCPenney and they had a huge like BLM section for clothing that like halfway through the month was already on discount clearance. And it was like all these sweaters that said like Africa is king on it. And I'm like, for one, that's maybe not the demographic area for this. But it's also like people just, that's pandering, right? But it's just companies that are just trying to make a quick buck off everything. Every trend,
it's
you
like,
know,
it's like as if Funko Pop were to make only on February we're gonna make Funko Pops and sell Funko Pops that are Black people, and then in June we're only gonna do people who are part of the LGBTQ. It's like, yeah, that's not like cool that you have those Funko Pops, but that's not the idea. That's commercializing the idea.
Yeah. That's what a lot of it is. But let's get into this here. Let's go and check out this particular video with Cameron. Oh, Cameron, what are you going to say now? He's got that smile on his face, like, I'm just going to say the stupidest shit, and no one's going to push back. No one's going to care. Let's see.
Think and I hope that Eternals is going to be the more well-regarded movie, whereas the biggest legacy of Eternals, I think and hope, is going to be its repercussions within Disney, and we'll get into that momentarily. But I want to get to call upon a few other of these super chats here. These are classic super chats. I can't bring them up on screen, but we leave no stone. You, Cameron, you have a great track record with your predictions.
No, he doesn't.
Nothing is ridiculous anymore in these.
With his predictions of Black Mirrors and tea leaves.
Well, thank you very much, and I thank you, Andre, for letting me do most of the predictions on here. You know, and it's you know, they come from 20 years of having my butt kicked by this town, right? And seeing all the machinations and being, watching projects die because someone played this game and realizing that I'm a pawn in somebody's story. And I've witnessed all that.
Wait, he just admitted he's a pawn in somebody else's story.
Yeah.
That's and maybe that's why he's going crazier and crazier and crazier, because he's like, wait a minute, I can make Midnight's Edge a pawn.
Right.
In my story.
I think it was like one of the first times I encountered like one of his crazy absurd things. I was looking into this guy. I'm like, this guy is like totally blacklisted from Hollywood because of the terrible things he has put in his so-called movies or whatever. And
well, is that the case? I can't find any information on him. Period.
It's
like I've been looking.
Yeah, you have to really go back on Cameron Pasha. Like,
yeah, I do want to do like a real deep dive into him. And because like, and again, if you start tracking it down, it comes out to like 2 years ago, he kind of came on the scene because he was teaching an online course, I think like through the University of Chicago, about screenwriting. And he said like he uses The Last Jedi as a way to write a bad movie. And then from there, like no one questioned him. And still to this day, I mean, like, what's he working on now? What, in Hollywood, you're only as good as your last project. So where's he at? That's my question. Is he just on these people's streams all day long? Like, is that his place or is that his mom's place? If I had to guess, I'd say it's his mom's. I'm not even making it up. I think
definitely either his mom's or his auntie's.
Like, I don't think he's been working for a while.
No, he if you look back, the last thing he worked on was in 2008.
Yeah. Well, you know what it is? You know what it could be? And again, I'll try to be fair, but there are, there's a comedian by the name of Maximini that he's an Iranian comedian that I was a social media guy for back in 2012 for a brief stint. Mm-hmm. And he was really good friends with Whitney Cummings and Chris D'Elia, before all the Me Too accusations.
Yeah.
And we were talking and he asked me, he's like, can you write? I said, I can write. And he goes, have you ever thought about punching up scripts and being a script doctor? And I'm like, no. And he's like, you can make good money doing that because it's something that like they need all the time.
Right.
And I'll give you guys an example. There's a movie, Coyote Ugly, that came out back in 2000. And it's not that great of a movie, but Kevin Smith was one of 7 screenwriters on that film. And
Cameron Pasha's first TV writing job was on UPN's remake of the classic series The Twilight Zone. So that should tell you everything about him.
Which episode? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, like, I just want to understand, like where he's been. I feel like he's a person lost in time, and now he's finally found his 15 minutes, and he's like, he's like, I think at this point he literally has no other option but to boost to get through. But I do like McLeod, you're saying we should start a drinking game whenever Cameron is on a stream and take a shot every time he blinks. I mean, either we're going to go home real drunk or we're going to be stone sober. This guy like, barely ever blinks.
It's like he either blinks throughout the whole thing or doesn't blink at all.
Yeah.
It's like one or two. He chooses the days he blinks. He's like, not today, but tomorrow I'll blink.
See, and I feel like when it comes to just him in general, they push his Patreon quite a bit because that's where I think he's making his money right now. And he's trying to like sell screenwriting seminars or screenwriting teaching through his Patreon. And he's also like publishing his book there chapter by chapter. Oh man. So if you want to learn the secrets of how to become a top tier Hollywood screenwriter like Cameron Pasha, then join my Patreon.
It's a really good screenwriter. He wrote really cool things, He wrote an episode on Twilight Zone. No, not that. Not the classic one. But
not the original.
The remake.
The UPN. Yeah. Oh my God.
He wrote an episode about a woman goes back in time in 1889 Austria in a desperate attempt to rewrite history by assassinating Adolf Hitler in his infancy, preventing World War II from ever taking place.
Wait, that's the episode he wrote?
Yes.
Isn't that that's like an old thing. Like, would you go back and kill baby Hitler?
It's like
Did he pitch that, or was he assigned that? I feel like he was assigned that, and they're like, Cameron's the guy. Okay, guys, like Cameron's the dude to tell us about a baby Hitler being executed.
Or,
all right,
well, he wrote an episode where Usher was in it. So it's about an idealistic young police officer dedicates himself to doing whatever it takes to protect a prostitute and a family friend from vindictive ghost of the pimp who he was forced to shoot and kill in line of duty. So.
Oh, yeah. Wow. You know, I mean, look, again, to be fair, written more things than me. I haven't got, I've written some movies. I've made 2 of them, but they've never gone anywhere. So, you know what? I mean, there's that. But again, anyone in Hollywood can, you can get jobs in Hollywood if you try.
Oh, yeah.
And then
people too.
But he did say he wrote some episodes of Tron Uprising.
Oh, yeah, he has.
But he's made comments before about being fired from Disney. Yeah. And so I'm wondering if that has to do with that at all. If maybe I should I should maybe try to find people who've worked on Tron Uprising and be like, yo, who's this guy? And see what they say. Because I'm curious about that. But all right, let's this segment is probably going to be a lot of the same stuff, a lot of the same script like we heard in the last video. But let's keep going.
I've directly experienced it. That's why I'm like, well, this is how these people think, right? I've been the victim of it. So how is the chess game moving? And so that's been the fun part of it. And on my Patreon, I'm now going very deep into it. I just published an article midnight last night about why I think the rumor that we're hearing from our friend Doomcock that Scarlett Johansson was actually plotting with Bob Chapek the whole time. The lawsuit that she filed was Bob Chapek's idea to corner Kevin Feige into an impossible situation from which he cannot emerge.
Do they know that Kevin Feige was supporting Scarlett Johansson? And
what? I mean, that. I almost want to go. I'm not going to lie. I almost want to go pay him $1 just to read that unhinged rant, that right. Weird ass screed of let me tell you guys why. Scarlett Johansson was pimped, was used by Bob Chapek in a collaboration to take out Kevin Feige. Yeah, the guy who single-handedly turned Scarlett Johansson into the highest paid actress in Hollywood. Right? She's gonna turn against that guy. Never mind. And I'm sure you'll agree. And I've said this before. It was her representation that pushed that lawsuit because they were the ones that were getting rebuffed. They were getting blown off by
ScarJo.
Yeah, they want their money. They get their percentage of that. That 100 million she wanted, they would have gotten 10 million to that.
Right.
All right. They want their money. Don't make no mistake here. That's the thing I don't get. As hey, but look at the image of him there with his eyes closed and his mouth open.
Oh my God.
Now we know, folks.
Now we know.
Oh, let's keep going.
And it sounds so absolutely crazy. And I write this very detailed thing of why this is exactly true based on my experiences, right? And that's all my predictions come from, is that I've seen everything and it's all crazy. And somehow I've survived it.
Yeah, actually, that's a perfect segue. So let's continue that right now.
Yeah,
Cameron, because as you referenced, our good friend Doomcock, he dropped a video I think it was yesterday, in which he broke down some more details about Indiana Jones, what's happening behind the scenes of Disney and Marvel, but he also broke some details about what's going on between Iger and Chapek specifically.
So again, we know that Doomcock does not have legitimate sources. He will pull them directly from out of his ass for one, and two, 4chan. But I will say this though. Ever since he got busted taking fake leaks from 4chan, as far as I understand it, he has stopped talking about Star Trek.
Oh yeah.
So it's now he's on now he's on this kick with let me tell you about why a person died in their hotel room and over whatever the hell is.
Yeah, it's another thing about the whole Indiana Jones thing. It's they are so hell bent about this whole they're turning Indiana Jones into a woman now whole thing, and I'm okay, Harrison Ford clearly wants to stop doing these things. So
well, the way they make it out though is they make it out to be like Harrison Ford is some inept whelp, right? That's effectively what they're trying to argue here. They're trying to argue that he is not physically prepared for the role, and that he's too old, and that he's just there for whatever paycheck. I'm sure at some point one of these idiots will make the claim that they've got like Kathleen Kennedy has blackmail information on him, and that's how she got him back.
You know why he was in Han Solo in Last Jedi? Here's why.
Yeah. I mean, never mind. His appearance in The Rise of Skywalker is probably my hands down favorite moment of that movie.
Right.
I thought it was so well done in regards to juxtaposing The Force Awakens in regards to Kylo's journey. Anyway, but like, the thing is though, do you know how many miles a day Harrison Ford would bike ride in France while shooting this movie? 40 miles a day. He keeps himself in shape by bike riding 40 miles a day.
That's good for him.
Good for him through the French countryside, right? And he does that. And this has been reported. It's been documented. Yeah. And he's been keeping himself physically active in order to do this movie, because guess what? He's giving it as much as he possibly can. And the fact is, like, again, they've had problems, him hurting himself and everything else. But it's one of those things where it's like, what I'm really listening for here is, well, Cameron kind of also gave it away when he says, like, I'm writing about this. This is how I know it's true based upon my own experience. But he never really specifies what those are.
I've been through this. Like, by looking at your credits, it looks like you went through 2 years of this.
It looks like he was active before the writer's strike, and then he hasn't been able to find work after the fact, is what I get out of that. John here with a great comment. Bald dude is the Hypnotoad in real life.
Oh my god. And it's just funny how, like, looking at everyone on this panel is just like the lady on the bottom is just like smiling and nodding.
Again.
Yeah. Smile and nod.
And then everyone else is silent here. Mexican Iron Man and the other guy are just not saying a word.
Like, whenever the main guy's talking, Cameron's always like kind of like looking at his computer, typing or doing something on his computer, and then I'm just like, he's not even focused. That's how you know it's scripted, or it's just that he has a sheet in front of him telling everything what to say. Like,
maybe, I don't know. I mean, I think like
it comes from his head. It's just like
but it's also a lot of the same stuff. He's repeated it multiple times. So
he replaces people with different.
Yeah,
people
there's been a slight update patch to the script, but it normally operates the same. Right. But let's keep going through this bit.
And their little game of 4D chess. I
think that's Feige, not Iger, because I think that's.
Sorry, I meant Feige. Yes, Feige. Because here's like the thing. I think that Feige, he is still under the previous contract, so he's probably scheduled to be there for years yet. I would imagine. I do not know exactly.
Unless he is forced to resign because
exactly. Unless he is forced to resign, and to me,
but why?
I have nothing but respect for what Feige has achieved.
Unless something like what happened with Civil War happens again, when he threatened to leave.
Yeah,
I mean, no one to threaten to leave other than Bob Chapek.
Well, the thing, there's other, so here's the thing with that, is there is a hierarchy, and Feige does have bosses. He's got three. One is Bob Chapek. The other one right now is Alan Horn, and the other one is Alan Braverman. And at the end of the year, so just again, at the end of next month, Alan Horn is going to retire, and Alan Braverman is going to take over. They've been kind of co-running Disney Studios for a while. Braverman is going to end up taking the reins of the entire company, which means that the hierarchy of power in the MCU is going to go Kevin Feige, right? It's Kevin Feige, Alan Braverman, Bob Chapek, and Braverman is going to be the go-between.
And Kevin Feige's little parliament that he has.
Yeah, well, but then again, look at it like this, right? They just opened up Avengers Campus, and that's doing well. Yeah, they've got that going, and again, that's what Chapek wants. Chapek wants the parks.
They just announced Cersei and Faustus and Kingo.
Yeah,
appearing there.
They're popping around. I mean, they're keeping up on it. It's like after Loki, they had they had TVA prison.
Every episode they changed the Loki appearance at Avengers Campus.
And that's good. Keeps you interested. And that's a lot of what they're doing.
And the Oogie Boogie, they had Oogie Boogie Bash, they had Agatha Harkness as like the villain there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like as like for the in the Doctor Strange area, they had her like stand on this mountain, and like the actress that played Agatha on the park, it looked cool through like videos and stuff. So it was like people visiting there on during Halloween weekend and week, they were like people dressing up Scarlet Witch and they're posting their videos, and like it was just like it was cool. It was like it gives people interaction, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean that's kind of the whole interesting, they're keeping it going, they're keeping it flowing, and that's the biggest problem that Galaxy's Edge has had, is that Galaxy's Edge, has Rey, it has Chewie, it has Kylo and some stormtroopers or First Order troopers, but it doesn't have Mando or Baby Yoda. It doesn't have it didn't have, Cara Dune or Grief Karga or Quill. I mean, fuck, dude, Quill was pretty popular during the first season. Not even like an IG-11 rolling around out there. Like
just they're like, oh, Mando and Grogu are coming. I'm like, okay, when though?
Yeah, like I'll come back down for that. Like if you can, but that's the whole point though, is Chapek is about the parks, because he's about IP brand integration. He's been very open about this, and that's one of the reasons why people who love the parks are not a big fan of Chapek. And so again, when all they talk about here is this war, they don't ever specify any direct meaning, any direct anything. And it's that is the most frustrating part. Andre fucking knows better. He absolutely knows better.
Cameron's fast-talking word salad is straight out of Ben Shapiro's playbook. And it's exactly that. The whole where you just fast talk and it sounds, it to you and the people you're talking to sounds intelligent, but then when you watch it, it just looks unintelligent. It looks idiotic.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what are you trying to convey?
Maybe they're all just high in their own supply at this point. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going with this.
The MCU. But for the last couple of years, it looks to me as if he is set upon tearing it all down. And Doomcock, he referenced a story that he had heard from one of his sources, so rumor alert, with how Chapek had asked him, what are you going to replace Iron Man with? To which Feige then replied, oh, we're going to replace him with Riri Williams. Going to be awesome. We can do this. To which Chapek then apparently responded, but Riri Williams, Ironheart, and there is a Riri Williams Ironheart series in development. She can't even sustain her own comic book for 12 issues in a row or beyond 12 issues. What could possibly make you think that she's going to be as popular with general audiences as Iron Man? To which
she's never going to be as popular as Iron Man.
No,
that's not even the point.
But that's not the point. And also, like, I think with this, obviously you have Coogler and Feige, who are the two people who are, that talk about Black Panther 2 and stuff, and Dominic Thorne, who plays Riri Williams, is in it as her first appearance. So obviously, Feige has some faith in Riri and Dominique as a character to at least inspire some sort of group of people.
Well, the thing is, I mean,
and
there's nothing wrong with having a strong Black female lead, period. No. And that is what they're going for. They're going for a younger audience. I mean, Shuri was kind of supposed to be like Letitia Wright, I think, is done with Marvel. Like I do. I just think she's kind of done.
I think with that, she's like, she has like probably like one or two movies after Black Panther 2.
Maybe. And I mean, and I liked her in the first Black Panther, and I'm looking forward to seeing her here, but
it's just like, I think she's probably, stepping back a bit, and it might be a thing where, this movie, she said, like, they say she's Black Panther, but then it kind of, like, with her character, probably feels like with self-doubt as, can she really be Black Panther and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I think she's going to be Black Panther in this movie because it just honestly seems like the most logical choice.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna bring somebody else in,
or M'Baku, who's gonna be the next.
Yeah, I would like again, any of the three of them would be fantastic in my opinion. because I loved all three characters. So I would love to see more with them. And I'm looking forward to that in this next movie. But again, it's kind of like, I agree with Shidoka here. Why would Chapek even care who Riri Williams is? Well, he would care because his whole point would be, can they sell merchandise? That is ultimately what it boils down to.
And can they sell, when they announced her character to be in the Avengers campus, can they sell tickets just based off of that announcement?
And the thing is, look, you've got, like, again, smaller characters, like in the general lexicon of comic popularity in the last 20 years. Where has Shang-Chi been? That did very well. Marvel took their B-list characters that were just the bottom of the barrel scraps, if you think about it, after having sold off X-Men and Spider-Man characters to keep themselves from going bankrupt back in the late 90s.
Also, Feige wanted to do Shang-Chi and like Black Panther in phase 1 and 2, but he couldn't
because of Perlmutter. Yeah,
Perlmutter was like, no Asian, no black, no woman lead movies.
White men only. No wonder why these guys are so upset. No wonder they're just like, bring back.
No more phases full of white men as leads.
How much you want to bet? How much you want to bet? We could probably trick them into saying Ike Perlmutter did nothing wrong, and that he actually was the mastermind of the MCU. You could probably implant that in their mind, and they would run with it because it absolutely fits their idiotic, dumb, dipshitted narrative. But okay, I just want to keep going because this is a bit of a longer clip.
Feige responded, "Well, I'm sure I can make it work.
I'm the genius. I made it work before."
Sometimes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So basically, the relationship between the two are not amazing. Commandant, can you just briefly take us through the story between, briefly summarize for new viewers, the story between Feige and Chapek, and what's new? What do you think is going on right now?
Well, you've established there are 2 points that Doomcock revealed, and I believe both of those 2 points, because I've been wondering where and when this conflict between these two figures began, right? And it is a conflict between these two figures. I don't think there ever was a conflict between Kathleen Kennedy and Bob Chapek. I don't think she ever went at him. I think she just went at people that messed up the money bottom line, and Chapek's like, I got to fix this problem, right? And he fixed it. Whereas Feige and him seem to be at loggerheads. I'm like, where did this begin? So Doomcock, our friend, is reporting that it began about a year ago when Iger was still going to these meetings, which suggests, this was the moment where Chapek still wasn't in charge, right? And Iger was the real shadow king. But Chapek was preparing for his moment, and he was heavily prepared. And so apparently Feige was stunned when Chapek's like, I know this character, and I hear the sales of this character's books, Riri Williams. Nobody's buying this book, right? Why are you doing this? And this was the moment where I think Feige realized, oh, this guy's actually going to try to do his job instead of being the fake CEO, and he's doing research on me. This guy's coming for me. So Feige woke up to that, right? Because he got embarrassed in front of the board. That wasn't, Feige thought this was just going to be, a kiss-a-thon. Everyone's going to kiss his butt, right? And make him look good at the board. I'm sure as Iger had done for years. And now he'd been embarrassed in front of very powerful people when he couldn't come up with an intelligent response beyond just trust me, right? So that was when his ego was activated. It's like, who's this guy? Who's this guy? He's going to mess with me? I'm going to take him down. That was a mistake. And then we saw the events that happened all this year. The pivotal event, which is the second thing that our friend Doomcock said, which is that Scarlett Johansson strangely filed a lawsuit after Black Widow against Disney, claiming that they by releasing it simultaneously on streaming, she lost a lot of money from her bonus that she was supposed to get from theatrical. And at the time, I was like, this makes no sense. She's been around the block for 20 years plus, right? And she knows you don't sue Disney. You're powerful enough that her agent can have one phone call with Chapek and there's a handshake and it's finished. And Disney claimed that in its legal filings that we'd resolved this. We had given her everything she wanted. Where is this coming from? And so the logic made no sense. And then she suddenly settled out of nowhere exactly at the moment when Shang-Chi started tanking, and then put out this wonderful kissing butt Disney press release of how she's excited to work with them and going to be doing this Tower of Terror, whatever. So I was like, all this feels to me like a storyline. It didn't feel like natural human behavior under these circumstances. And then when Doomcock revealed the shocking thing that he's hearing from his sources, that apparently when Feige said to her, which I always believed he had, hey, Scarlett, baby, this guy messed with your money. Can you just sue him? And we're going to take him down together. It's you and me together, baby, right? And she said, uh-huh. And she went straight to Bob Chapek's office and said, this guy's trying to screw with you. And Chapek's like, thank you for letting me know. Let's play with this. Let's put him in a position where, everyone, because Chapek, we've seen, will take the humiliation. We've seen it publicly. He will take being humiliated in the trades in order to outsmart his adversaries. His ego is big enough to know that I just need to win. I don't care what public opinion appears to be temporarily against me. So for a few weeks, people were like, oh, look at Chapek is screwing around with Scarlett Johansson. He took the hit. Because he knew the bigger thing was I have to trap Feige in a position where he cannot get out of. I believe that absolutely, because it's the only thing to me, as someone who survived the machinations of this town, that explains.
This is painful, but I want him to.
The thing that I wrote on my Patreon is,
I'm like shaking my head the whole
she
time.
Betray Feige like this, who was her mentor for many years, for a decade, gave her this huge role, right? Why? It's like he betrayed her. He betrayed her when he put Captain Marvel before the Black Widow movie and took this nobody actress that people didn't want, right, in the fandom, and put her first over Black Widow. And basically the betrayal, one, and second, Feige says, I'm going to kill off Black Widow. So that means Scarlett's not going to be making any money off this character in the future, right? That's betrayal number two. And so I was like, why would this, at the time, I was like, why would she be with Feige on this? It makes no sense. It's because she wasn't with Feige.
I would like to.
Okay. I just wanted that to go all the way through, because I don't ever want to be accused of letting this guy, just because I want you guys to hear it from his words. Like, yeah. Anyway, sorry. Your thoughts.
Like, also the whole point where he's saying like, oh, they do the movie on someone that nobody wanted. Well, he wanted to do Captain Marvel before he had, like, Captain Marvel and Shang-Chi were the two movies he pitched Ike, and then Ike was like, no woman leads, no Asian leads, and then he pitched him Black Panther, and then was like, no black leads too. So that should tell you the prioritization of projects that he has, that he wants to do Captain Marvel first before he does Black Widow.
Yeah, well, like, you have to look at it like this, right? So it's like Feige was pitching these movies. At the time, they were only doing like 2 a year, right? And so, and they were all really popular. They were leading to the end of the Infinity Saga. And I hate to break this to the storyteller that's right there on the screen. When it comes to something as big as what the MCU is building to, consequences matter, and characters have to be put in mortal danger. And in some cases, the characters will die. That is just how storytelling works. You have to give the audience something to care about. If you don't, then they lose their interest. They lose that connection. For a person who apparently is a writer, he really has a shit way of figuring out a story. I mean, listen to him talk there about like, it doesn't feel right. But he explains this scenario about this fictional board meeting with Bob Iger, Bob Chapek, Kevin Feige, and other people. And the character of Riri Williams comes up and he's talking about the comic book sales. Now, look, Riri Williams, she came out in like when, 2014, 2015, somewhere in there. She's been around for a number of years. You know, I mean, and I remember when she came out, there was some controversy around it, but it wasn't much there. But here they're trying, you can tell, they're trying to look at the characters that they have access to and like, all right, how can we make these characters fit? Because we want more, diversity and inclusion. It's, but again, that's this fictional board meeting that, you know, he plays it out like it really happened. And he's like, no, but I believe this is what happened. Ugh. My God. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay.
I was just, I agree. It's just like they're on like some Elseworlds right now.
Oh, well, yeah, they're on some, they're microdosing like crazy.
And like he was like saying about this whole Brie Larson's a nobody thing, and how I'm just like, no, that's like factually false. And
yeah.
like they were just like, and the timeline didn't seem correct at all. Like he was like saying something about how Iger was a Shadow King, and then.
Well, that actually does make sense. That actually I believe is true, and I say that because it was at like I think like the beginning of 2020, they announced that Iger was going to be stepping down, that Chapek was going to be taking over, but Iger was going to like he was still going to be around for like like 18 months or something,
right?
But when the pandemic hit, and they were in a regime change when the pandemic hit, Iger kind of reverted back to being like the guy in charge,
Right.
because like as to navigate the waters. So there was structural leadership, and they weren't like, because that power shift at that time is definitely going to be a problem. Like people need to know in the company and the shareholders that they can trust the leadership. And so Iger hung around until they were able to kind of get back to smooth sailing, and then he dipped out. So then he took a step back. So it's not like it was a Shadow King thing.
It was more of like
it's a business choice.
Yeah.
Due to a once in a century pandemic.
Yeah, and also like it was just like a big SMH moment where I was just like shaking my head every word he was saying. I'm like what is he like? The goal of this story is like what again? Is to like you're only causing this one group of people to be mad at this corporation, but they're not going to stay mad for too long. So that's why they keep on creating these stories about how like these actors are mad at Feige or mad at Chapek or executives or stuff. Like that's the only reason why they create these stories, because they know they can only keep these people's attention for so long and keep them mad for so long that they need to have a story every week or 2 stories every week or whatever. And it's just like, and it shows, you don't see people continuously talk about who's that person? There was like this actor that they were trying to accuse of betraying Kathleen Kennedy going to George Lucas, and how they were trying to convince George Lucas to come back and take over Lucasfilm and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was just like, dude, that
remember the Lucas cut, remember Lucas shadow directed The Rise of Skywalker, and like, he was involved, like he's going to direct episodes of The Mandalorian and all of this stuff.
He's visiting set to scope out the set to see if it follows his vision of the next film sets that he's going to do. He's going to
right. 10, Lucas is 11, doing another 12. It's like all of this shit that Doomcock makes up. He just makes up, or someone tells him, I guess. I don't know. But I mean, just listening to this whole rant from Cameron here, I mean, there's literally like, this is why I think it'd be really funny if like a whole bunch of film bloggers were just like, who the fuck is this guy? Because, in certain circles, he actually like, Midnight's Edge brings him on. They platform him. They legitimize him constantly. Doomcock does the same thing. They have 120,000, channel, or no, they have 200,000. Doomcock's got 300,000. That's not a small number of people. And the word travels, because when Doomcock makes a content, like Inside the Magic will cover it. We Got This Covered will cover it. Like all these other people will cover it, and that ends up going out there. I'll tell you this,
because Giant Freaking Robot covers whatever We Got This Covered covers, and then We Got This Covered, either take stories from like people like this, or take something from their butt, or take something from another scooper and then and say as their own, or say as a rumor or something. It's like you can tell which stories are from where.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I know. You can. The thing that pisses me off is just that platforming. It's like, and people like not really like really listening to what they say and questioning it. It's just, that's why I wanted Cameron to speak. But let's keep going. I think we're getting closer to being done.
I would like to add that just because the guy's a nerd, just because the guy's a accountant, just because the guy comes from the world of finance, doesn't mean he doesn't know the fandoms. You got to watch out those accounting guys. Oh, wait, I'm one of them. Sometimes those accounting numbers guys, they actually are great fans of fandom, and they actually know what's up and what's going on. Yeah. You would be surprised. And I think this is now the second or third, if not, no, this isn't the second. I have heard multiple things from one way. You know what stood out for me? Valiant and I we religiously and exhaustively watch these Disney earnings calls and listen to the tapes and stuff. We read them and all that stuff. The first call that he was on, when I first heard him speak, I basically made a comment. I don't know where I did it. I don't know if it was in Mead or Valiant or whatever, but I basically said, this guy isn't an average numbers nerd. Like he resounds with me like kind of like me. Like if I met this guy, I think I'm going to get along great with him. And I don't get along with a lot of accountants, a lot of finance people. because they're so uber warped and wrapped up in their own neuroses of numbers that they just, they're like, it's like talking to a wall or a dog. You're not sure if they understand or listen or whatnot. But this guy from the first Disney call, and maybe that comes from his products background, from having managed that division. Maybe it comes from some of the retail stuff. I'm not sure, because I never had any exposure to him before he got selected as president. But from hearing him on that very first earnings call, and definitely on the last one or two, this is a guy who knows what's up. And the fact that he happens to be a black belt in numbers and money, that right there tells you that Kevin got, a guy like Kevin will underestimate, never underestimate the accountants, and never underestimate to the extent to which the accountants might love fandoms.
Yeah, and
what? I mean, was that even like a?
That was nothing.
That was just like the guy has a black belt in accounting. Okay,
It's like, okay,
what is that?
cool.
Okay,
What does this have to do with the story of Feige versus Chapek and
I don't know.
Scarlett
I think they're trying to argue that like he's a forensic accountant, and this is like a neo noir film. And he's going into like, you see here, folks, I was promoted to the
this is a
CEO
movie
of
I would
Disney.
like to see.
Yeah, but I was sent in here by the board to make sure that
Like Karen
nothing
Pasha,
bad's
please
happening.
write that movie. And
Yeah,
pitch
it's
to
great.
Sony
I would watch
Studio.
that. I would watch that. I know.
And-
His friend, believe it or not, Cameron's friend Tom was actually in here earlier. I don't know if he's still in here or not, but I've known Tom for a long time, and Tom backs Cameron 100%, which is just the weirdest fucking thing in the world to me. I don't get it. I mean, maybe Tom is just not happy with the industry. I get that too. But at the same time, it's like, come the fuck on.
Right.
And
Again,
okay.
it feels
Wait,
like,
hold on. Rick Robbins, Andy lost his mind and started calling out Screen Junkies for rightfully firing him. Did that happen again? He went
happened.
nuclear? Did it happen? Because he did this a while back, so I don't know if that's anything new or not. I mean, Andy again is like another broken record. So Shidoko, I can't click on that from here. Well, hold on. Maybe
I was able to
can.
copy and paste it.
I will. Oh no, oh no, it's not. Yeah, that didn't. Hold on. God damn it, fucking stupid YouTube. All right, let's see. I don't know what this is. What is he doing? Like again? Oh my god.
Time to come clean.
Oh
like,
my! I am angry. Enough is enough. Oh, Andy.
It's like once every 5 months.
Yeah. I mean, like, what is he? Did he milk Gabby Petito's corpse dry?
He's he's like, I got $1 million from this Gabby Petito thing. Now let's get $1 million from me coming clean about Screen Junkies.
Okay, I know. Okay, hold on. I will watch a couple minutes of it, but is there a timestamp where it's funnier? Because I don't want to just like randomly thumb through Andy. I just
right.
I can't do it. Just give me a timestamp. We'll check it out here in a second. All right, let's just keep going. This is.
I can believe a lot of what Doomcock said yesterday because, look,
just that guy automatically. First time that guy talks, he's an idiot.
Riri Williams character, the Ironheart, the black female Iron Man, the new character, that was one of those Disney Marvel. We just pulled this one out of thin air back in, I think 2017 is when this character was introduced. 2016 had a total of maybe 10 comic books, and then that was it because nobody bought it. The Dominique Thorne is supposed to be playing her in Black Panther next year. She's going to be introduced in Wakanda Forever, by my understanding. And yeah, Disney Plus show with Ironheart and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all that if that would have been a legitimate conversation at some point. Who are you replacing Iron Man with? We just lost our most valuable piece of property with Endgame, which I was fine with because I think it was a great end to a story arc. It was appropriate. But if that's the idea, let's replace this character that had that much charisma with Robert Downey Jr. with this character again that nobody has ever heard of. I mean, has only been around for 3 years or so and only had 10 or 12 comic books come out.
They never sold.
I do
No,
they
that's
never
just it.
sold.
No, if they'd sold, there would have been more than 10.
Who would replace
a lot more. They'd still be running.
But then,
hold on.
I mean, again, this
let's create that into a series. Like, who would replace Captain America if they turned that into a series? So the 2 series that came out of that question is Ironheart and Armor Wars. Like that's probably that question was probably asked, but that conversation did not end like that, you know? Or
Yeah, well, what I think happened is they're like, okay, what
next?
can we do? You know, like what new characters can we introduce now? Because they
Right.
are building towards Young Avengers.
Yeah.
And so it's entirely possible that, like, you know, Ironheart will join Young Avengers. And when they talk about, like, oh, they lost the Iron Man, the most valuable character, and they're replacing him with her. It's like, no, they're replaced. If anything, Tom Holland's Spider-Man is going to be the replacement for the next couple phases.
It'd be like either it's one or both. It's Tom Holland's Spider-Man and Don Cheadle's War Machine. Those are the
and then and Armor Wars, I believe, is filming right now too. And Don Cheadle was only in 90 fucking seconds of Falcon and Winter Soldier and got an Emmy nod.
Right.
Which still makes no sense, by the way. I don't get that one at all. Like Isaiah Bradley should have got it and won in a heartbeat, but whatever.
I was like, that character, like, he should have gotten rather than Don.
It's like, if you think critics don't matter, just look at award nominations.
Award nominations.
So bad.
Well,
so bad.
That, like, Disney submitted Black Widow rather than submitting, like, Shang-Chi or Eternals?
Oh, really? I mean, I think it was a better made movie than Shang-Chi. But they also they put the Bride for Star Wars Visions up as their nomination for the best original, like, short film or best animated short. You know, like
the Village one, right?
The Village, I think it's like the Bride one, right? That's what it was. It was not. That wasn't even that good of one. That wasn't even that good. Like, honestly, like the Ninth Jedi or like the fucking Duel. The fucking Duel was amazing. Not only was it a good story, but like the pencil art that they used in order to, like, the charcoal drawing that they used as a way to animate that was just fucking phenomenal. But whatever. I mean, that's a whole other argument.
Yeah. It was
anyway.
The Village Bride.
Yeah, the Village Bride. I mean, it wasn't bad. I enjoyed Star Wars Visions for what it was.
I enjoyed Star Wars Visions,
I'm looking forward to more, but that's not the one I would have picked.
I would have picked the Ninth Jedi, or the ninth, or whatever that episode was. Where, you know, it's all the Jedi that was actually Sith.
Yeah, that was really cool. That was a cool reveal. That was a pretty cool, solid reveal there. All right. Let's. I think we're just probably. I don't know. I'll give it like another minute if it's nothing else, then we'll jump over to the Andy thing, because I do want to.
Is just again smiling, nodding.
That's about all we've heard. That's
That's what the script says.
That's just okay. So your role for the duration of the stream is to smile and nod. All right.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay. I got it. Thanks.
I got it. Thank you, Cameron. Director Cameron.
We'll check that one out. Rational. Right. 2215. Okay, we'll check that one out here in a minute. We'll just see how this is going.
It's one of these things that, like, Cameron and I kept discussing. It's like, once everybody else around Feige was gone, once Favreau had moved on, once Ike Perlmutter, regardless if you believe the allegations that Feige made about him, true or false, doesn't matter. Once Perlmutter moved on, after that 2015, 2016 era, taking into account all of the Marvel properties and movies that were already in development at that point, all the fresh new stuff from that point moving forward, what Feige has had his hands on is a sole arbiter of, okay, has not been terribly big time with fans.
Okay, I'm just, you know what? I don't really want to give that one any energy.
I mean, it does not have the same magic that it had up to that point. You know, even taking characters like Guardians of the Galaxy, which nobody had really.
It was funny that he said about Perlmutter. He was like, and like felt like he was about to say what you thought, like what you were saying about.
Right.
Like,
They're gonna.
Is he about to say it? Ah, he does.
You know. Oh, when Perlmutter moved on, no, Perlmutter was kicked to the fucking curb, dude.
He was like he like had like this whole fraud thing about donating some of his money from Marvel to Trump. It was like,
yeah, he gave $1 million to veterans. I think it was a Trump veteran charity or something. Which, you know, after we learned about the Trump organization, who knows? Who knows about that? If that ended up being real or not, where that money went, we have no idea. But anyway, oh my God. Yeah, I know. TW here, they're right. They want him to come back. At some point, they're going to say they want Perlmutter to come back because Perlmutter is going to be the real idea guy behind it all.
George Lucas to them for
that's like he's the Gary Kurtz.
Heard of, but it was cast with such a a charismatic crew and 5 people that work great together. Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, and then you had Bradley Cooper doing Rocket and so on and so forth. It worked. It was great. It was fun. You know, now we're getting marketing lectures about, you know, social political issues every time we get a Marvel movie and a trailer drop.
And Iron Man is irreplaceable. I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody says. There are wonderful characters out there. There are. And I'm sure there are some that we haven't discovered yet. But he's irreplaceable. We're not ever going to see another character like this. And go ahead and try and find another character who can connect another actor who can connect with a character like Robert Downey Jr. Go ahead and do it, because Robert Downey Jr., and I've said this before, made us fall in love with Iron Man. I love that character. And he feels very real to me. It was like an explosion. It was an incredible connection that they had. And he became very real and is very real for a lot of people, and will continue to be so.
And Marvel and Disney didn't want him. It took Jon Favreau went to bat like 40 times to get him that role. He's like, no, trust me. You got to have RDJ.
But okay, so hold on here. And I talked about this. I've mentioned this the other night. But at the time when they were doing that, which I think was around 2006.
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. was basically in like the lowest point of his career.
Oh yeah. Like if you read obviously the articles about the whole coming to RDJ, it was, Doom first, and then they're like, no. And then they're like, okay, Iron Man. And then Jon Favreau and Kevin was like, yes. And then it was Perlmutter and Disney who were like, eh. And Sarah Finn finally was like, gave in and was like, yeah. And then they're like, okay, yeah, let's do it. But it's like one of those things where, like, I don't know who she is, but she, like, again, she made some valid points where, he was very connected, but again, he may seem irreplaceable now, but then once, we see Dominic Thorne and Tom Holland and Don Cheadle on screen without RDJ, then you'll see how connected you can get to those 3 characters.
Well, here's the thing with this. I'll just put it to you like this. Robert Downey Jr. was not in Spider-Man Far From Home, and that movie still did $1 billion.
That's that too.
And the reason why, granted, he wasn't in the movie, but his presence was felt all the way through. That movie was the goodbye to Robert Downey Jr. That's what that movie was. And that's the whole point. The emotional resonance that Tom Holland conveyed for the character was also replicated and felt by the audience. And that is going to be why Tom Holland's Spider-Man is going to be leading a lot of things going forward. That's the whole point. And I'll put it like this. Disney didn't want fucking Tom Holland either. No, they wanted Asa Butterfield.
Asa Butterfield or that other kid. Yeah.
And you know what screwed it up? You know what really screwed it up for Asa Butterfield? Is when they brought him in to screen test against Robert Downey Jr. And Asa could not banter. Asa did not have the chemistry. And so when they brought in Tom Holland and him and Robert Downey Jr. bounced off each other like either like a father-son dynamic.
Right.
And that sold their relationship. And that was again, one of the key factors in Endgame. In Infinity War, when, go and look at Homecoming, right? Peter's kind of like looking at Peter like he's a father figure Peter's looking at Tony like he's a father figure. Tony's like pushing him away. Pushing him away. Then you get into Infinity War and they go together on that journey and he's basically like, all right, like whatever, I'm gonna look after you, but you're kind of an idiot, but you're a kid. And then at the end there, when he's like, Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good. And then he just disappears and Tony blames himself for that. So much so that 5 years later, he is still blaming himself. And that was the reason why looking at that image of him and Peter together is what prompted him to invent time travel, as weird as it is to say out loud. The emotional resonance of that through line with that story is why we got to that amazing ending that we did, and the resonance that we got with this. So Tom Holland is going to be able to keep that going, which is another reason why No Way Home is going to be as big as it is. As much as I want to see that movie, for me, Tom Holland is the biggest draw.
Yeah, I also think Tom Holland is one of those people that you can connect easy with,
Yeah, he seems like an easygoing guy.
He's a likable guy.
Yeah.
And him and oh my God, who's in Uncharted with him? Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg.
Like all those rumors of Tom Holland wanting Mark Wahlberg to be Uncle Ben. Like, I wouldn't put it past because it seems like he's a person that can connect with a lot of people. I wouldn't put it past it, but then again, it's from like, we got this covered, so I'm like, oh, okay. But if you were just telling me that like flat out, like that's a rumor, I'm like, okay, I can see that.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I'm just kind of like, I think I know where they're going with things. I think I understand what they're trying to do. And again, once we move into Fantastic Four, once we open up with the X-Men and the mutants and everything else, obviously things are going to change. But there are a lot of diverse characters that don't get a lot of play in Marvel, and that are now going to be getting a lot of that play. And guess what? Disney Plus is a great way for that. And yeah, Perlmutter's not there because remember when there was a comment in here in the chat about how he gutted Inhumans. And again, Feige wanted Inhumans. And then Perlmutter came out and did that terrible ass show, and
now you can't
tanked the brand. And yet these guys all right here would be like, no, that's just the right business play. Perlmutter, he gets it. Like, this is where they are. That's
why Ms. Marvel ain't no Inhuman in her show, because Perlmutter.
Oh yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, that would make sense. Because even though it's very, very much in her character,
canons, but it's like, people are still going to look at that show and be like, that's what Inhumans are. And they're going to look at Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Inhumans and be like, that's what Inhumans are. Okay, that's bad. That's a bad thing. I don't want to see that again. This
is god-awful stuff. Anyway, I mean, I'm ready to move on past it if you are too. Because we've been on this one for a while. And how long have we been on this one now? About an hour on this video. Oh, wow. And and there's still more to go. There's still like 10 more minutes to go. I'm not going to do it.
It's laughable. Again, if this was a pitch meeting on a new script, then fine. But this is like some lies that they're trying to spread about Bob Chapek and Kevin Feige.
It's all stuff that is just woefully made up.
Yeah.
That's really all it boils down to here. So, all right. Why don't we hold on? Okay, hold on. Yvonne here asking, Matt, have you seen the New Mutants? Could they have taken it to the MCU? I actually haven't seen the New Mutants yet.
I've seen it, and it's.
I heard, but everyone told me it wasn't good.
It's not good.
Or like it was weird. Okay. It was okay. I heard it was okay.
It's one of these things where you don't know which the villain is.
And
then like they revealed the villain who they are, and then it's like, but you still question, is that person really the villain?
Okay. I mean, I need to watch. I think it's still on HBO Max. I need to give it a watch.
Yeah.
Swarin here asks, Matt, why did you delete Jarbo / Mundane Matt channel? I didn't delete it. It's still there. The videos are all there. I just unlisted everything. There's no point. I don't have a desire to work on that channel anymore. So that's not what I want to do, because it's obviously tied into all the other bullshit. And if I post anything, it doesn't matter how banal, it's just going to be inundated with comments like, oh, fuck you, go kill yourself, blah, blah, blah. Someone the other day, literally on that channel, posted a comment demanding to see my pay stubs.
What?
To prove that I had a job.
Oh my God.
I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? Like, that is the level of entitlement these assholes fucking have. So like, whatever, man.
Like, let's see your pay stubs. Let's see
let's prove. Let's prove.
Let's see let's see everything.
Yeah. Show me your bank statements. Like, what are you, my
show
creditor?
Me your social security number.
What are you?
So look through your.
Yeah, like what are you, my fucking creditor? Am I going to come to you for a loan? Right. Jesus Christ. I mean, I guess if I'll tell you, give me like $50K. Okay, we'll talk interest free. And I don't have to pay it back. It's a grant. And I'll show you my fucking pay stubs. How about that shit? You stupid asshole. There's so many. And again, it's just people who are just entitled little bastards. And it's like, honestly, it is what it is. It sucks. But you know what? I got stuff brewing on the side that I'm okay with. All right. And all right. So I just want to start from the beginning. I want to go at least to see how he starts this thing. I want to see how he's going to dive in. Okay, so he starts at about the 1830 mark. I just want to give it the first couple seconds to see how bad this is. Make sure the sound's all the way up. All right. Uh-oh. It's all black. What's going on?
And then it's a big prologue pops up. Starts off like a Star Wars movie.
Standard Time, and today's gonna be a little bit of a short show. Today's gonna be a different show, and I hope you'll humor me as I'm gonna get into something I didn't think I was gonna get into today. But there was a news story today that came out. It actually came out yesterday.
Yeah, I'm hearing he's got that music playing in the background.
Oh my god!
That's
also, he has a Screen Junkie shirt on, and if he's trying to expose Screen Junkies,
I know.
It's just so weird.
I know. All right. I just want to give him the chance for the setup, and then we'll just jump to 1830.
And it bothered me. It bothered me, and it gave me a lot of PTSD of my own experience that happened to me. And as I was,
what PTSD were you creeping on fans and got fucking fired for it? I mean, granted, there was a settlement that did happen, and
also
and
the
everything
whole where he's the whole, which is funny because like I had an interaction with him on Twitter one time about this whole it was like this Black Panther 2 thing with Doom. It's Dr. Doom is going to be in Black Panther 2. And I was like, that's so not true. Like, no, that's not happening. And then like one of his writers came on like, you don't know how reliable Andy is. I'm like, yeah, I know. He's 0%. Like, it's like, and then Andy came in and was like, I'm like, don't come after me after, you just had, like, last year you had this whole lawsuit against you with your ex-wife. Like it's just like, you have a whole lot of trouble behind you. You don't need to add more. Like, it's...
Wait, you had a lawsuit with your ex-wife?
No, he did.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about you. I don't know.
No.
Honestly, ever since like him and I had our falling out, like I've poked at him a couple times to fuck with him because he's an asshole. But like, I honestly don't know what's going on with him. So like, this is entirely new.
His wife was suing him or had a court case with him because, she was like, obviously after the divorce and stuff like that. And then she was like, and then she went after him for, later down, like, for abuse and stuff like that. And like, it was just like, he was, like, she was like, oh yeah, like I have to go to therapy and it's coming out of my pocket and I can't pay for it anymore. But it's because
this is Andy's wife, Andy's ex-wife.
Yeah.
He was talking about this?
Yeah, he was like talking about it. Like, it was like, oh, I didn't abuse her at all. And it's like this whole video. He's like, whenever you bring it up, he just links the video and then blocks you. So it's like you don't even get a chance to actually click on the video. You have to go on his page to look up the video. It's like
I didn't know about that. That's here's the thing. I don't even really want to get into that, to be honest with you, because that's like
it's a whole nother thing.
That's his whole shit right there. But it doesn't surprise me. Andy's a gaslighter. Andy is very emotionally and mentally and verbally abusive. What he does is he likes to steamroll the conversation, and
he uses Jody Corner a lot.
Oh yeah. Well, the fact that they threatened to dox Max and they threatened all that shit and all that stuff. They threatened to blackmail me, which I thought was really interesting. And
Corner's his lackey. It's his.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they have a vested financial interest in each other. So there's that. But all right. So okay, I just want to see him again. Just kind of get through this quick setup here. Then
sitting on it, I was like, I'm not just gonna do a video, or maybe I'll just do a little video on Cactus. The more I just sat with it, the more frustrated I became with it. And I want to talk about it. It's not typically this stuff. I mean, it is the type of stuff I would typically do on this channel, but I know we've pivoted to some other topics, but I hope you'll hear me out. I hope you'll hear it out. Some of this may be news to you. Some of this may not be news to you. Some of this may be new information for you. I'm definitely going to reveal some information, but I want to get into something that's bothering me today, and I appreciate all you guys there, and I appreciate your support, and I appreciate you hearing me out. So where to even begin on this, man? I thought it'd be easier just to do this live. Just spit.
All right. Well, I don't want to. Okay, so he says start. So I heard 8 minutes in. All right. What's he doing?
He's like
with these allegations, and I'm going to get more into it. Don't worry. This man's life.
Oh, they're talking about Dave Portnoy from Barstool Sports. So the Dave Portnoy thing, if you don't know, Business Insider wrote an article where they basically spent 8 months trying to track down women who have been sexual with Portnoy who were that felt abused by him. They came across 2 women that I recall, I believe it's 2 women that have had interactions that claim to have negative interactions. Portnoy put out a video yesterday on his social media refuting the claims, one of which was a he said, she says, and he admits that. The other one was he actually provided screenshots from text messages between him and the woman to back up like his claim of she was down to hang out more and everything else. Right. And so now Business Insider is trying to go after Portnoy's advertisers for Barstool Sports. It's a mess of a situation. And what I'm pretty sure here is that now that I'm thinking about this without knowing anything, I'm assuming Screen Junkies wrote about it. And this is why he's angry. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Portnoy, the only reason why I know Portnoy is one of his pizza reviews. And then he does a podcast with someone that, a friend of a friend.
Yeah.
Type person. And like, I was like, okay.
Yeah. Portnoy, Barstool Sports is whatever you want it to be. He's kind of a piece of shit, but he's a piece of shit by his own admission. Right. So, all right, let's see what happens at 18 minutes.
That all this happened. Multiple abuse allegations? That's bullshit. There was one, and she was a liar, and I proved it.
That is true.
And you didn't do the retractment when my PR guy came to you, did you, Insider? You didn't correct this story when the facts actually came out, did you? No, this is still a headline that people screenshot and use against me as if I was this multiple, oh my God, look at all this stuff I did, which is a complete lie. And that's what journalism is today. And it pisses me off because I built this brand. Screen Junkies was my baby. There were a lot of people who made it what it is. I was not alone. It takes a village. It is factual. But I was the idea man. It sickened me when I was out there after I got canceled to see people try to, well, Andy stole the idea for Honest Trailers. It wasn't even his idea for Honest. Bullshit. And all you people who were silent and were in the room that day when you absolutely know I came up with that idea. Let's get a movie trailer voice. Let's be honest. Let's do an honest trailer where we have to actually tell the truth about the truth. Boom, it happened in the room and there are witnesses. And people are still out there, including those people who were there, denying that reality. And what's so funny to me is they refuse, still to this day, to give me the credit. I'm the co-creator. And I've always ignored and just sort of tried to move on, and it doesn't matter. But no, I'm airing it all out. I'm the co-creator now because I chose to give my colleague Brett Weiner co-creator credit because he helped me establish the voice of the show. The show got better because of him, but the idea was mine. He was a writer on the show. And technically, that's all he deserved. Technically, if I didn't even have to give him that credit. It was my idea. But I chose to give him that credit because he deserved it, in my opinion. He helped me create the voice of Honest Trailers. He was
So he deserved it, but he didn't deserve it? And he gave it to him? I mean, there's some fucking ego here.
It seems like one of those things where, he forgets the room he was in when he pitched that idea.
Well, I can tell you when it comes to revisionist history, he is fantastic at it.
Oh yeah, he is.
So
and if we're taking this story about him, again, he has to, if you're in a room with a group of people like that, where you're at a company, and you say an idea out loud, that idea is no longer yours, really. It's now the company's. So this Screen Junkies taking my idea and not giving me credit thing, they give you credit, but sure, it was your idea in the room, but overall it turned into a Screen Junkies thing.
Well, yeah, he says that the guy helped him develop the voice of the show, which ultimately, you can say that the creator of it, fine. I don't care if he wants to claim he's the creator of it, but the development aspect of it, there's producers on the show, whatever. Yeah. I mean, the thing is like this, ever since Andy was canceled, which has now been about 4 years, he has been desperate to claw his way back, and he's done it now on the corpse of Gabby Petito and the mental well-being of Britney Spears.
Oh my God. I was, that whole Gabby Petito thing pissed me off so much. I was like, dude, you're like, yeah, like it was like I was like I saw he did 2 streams about it, and then like in the first 2 streams he got like, I think in the first stream he was just like some super chats, but then the second one he got like so many super chats. And he was like, I'll continue now because you guys seem really interested in this. I'm like, yeah, people are interested in this case.
Well, I mean, I talked about it in like, YouTube shorts or whatever, like minute long videos. And they did pretty well. I mean, like I didn't make any money off of that. I was just covering it as it went along. But the thing is, I will say this. Andy, to his credit, he'll come out and he'll tell you exactly what he's doing. So there's no like, he'll come out and say, no. Like, you guys don't want to hear me talk about a movie. You guys want to hear me talk about Britney Spears. And it's like, that's what it is. Like, even my girlfriend is really into the Britney Spears thing. Like, so much so she was watching a lot of videos on it. So like, I'm thumbing through like our YouTube TV and I start seeing Andy videos pop up, and I'm like, hide, not interested. Yes. And she's like, what's that? I'm like, this is that douchebag I was telling you about. She's like, oh yeah, no, block that guy. Because like, I'm like, he doesn't care. He doesn't. I can understand his mentality if it came to like the Portnoy thing. I get false accusations and all that jazz, right? Fine. But it's like, Andy does a podcast on Hugging the Cactus, apparently, where he like gives mental health advice to people. He is not a trained, like, he's not a trained mental health expert. He's got no background in this shit.
Right.
And it's like, ooh, dude, that's wildly. And I mean, I consider myself at least a common sense guy, and there's common sense answers you could give, but I would never, like, I don't know. I find it to be kind of weird, but anyway,
did you see that video of I can't remember, halogen helix?
Yes, I have seen the halogen helix stuff. Yeah. Oh no, I know. Oh, trust me.
The whole sleeping better and what the dreams mean.
Wait, I'm sorry. The what? Wait, what?
He did like a satirical video on Andy. He had like someone come on and talk about how you can tell what your dreams mean, and it's like, if you're running away from something, it means you're running away from something in your real life or whatever. And it's like, it was just hilarious. Like, it was just like, and Halogen was playing, obviously Andy in this situation.
Yeah.
And, like, he had like one of his friends on as like Andy's guest, and it was like this person who can tell you what the dreams mean. It's like, it was just like playing into this whole thing where Andy's just having some like random people on his show to talk about the most randomest thing ever.
Oh, okay. I mean, I honestly have like not paid attention. Like, right. I know Halogen Helix called out Andy because Andy was feeding Halogen Helix info about me.
Right.
And got Halogen Helix to make a couple videos on me. And then when Paul, that's his name, when Paul realized he was getting played, he deleted both of those videos and disavowed them. And now Paul and I follow each other on Twitter. Okay. So yeah, Rick. Okay. Yeah. Rick says here, the video gets worse. He basically takes credit for everything Screen Junkies ever did. I mean, he has. I've heard him do that in the past. All right, let's jump ahead to 22 minutes because I am starting to get tired and I got to get to bed here pretty soon. Yeah. So let's see what he says. He said this is where it gets funny.
To this day, still have not conversed with me. Literally overnight. Years of friendship, years of everything, building them out. Dan Murrell, you scumbag. Your girlfriend's got you on a leash.
What?
You wouldn't even have her if it wasn't for me. How dare you keep vilifying me and telling me I'm not allowed to talk about it? F you, you self-righteous prick.
What?
I'm done. And I'm so glad I'm at a place where I can just get it out. And I haven't been here, but when I read this story, I was just realizing, God, I got to get some of this out. And sometimes you got to get it out. And you guys are jerks. I made mistakes. I have owned those mistakes. How long are you going to make people pay for their mistakes? The mistakes that have paid you for years. For years to this day, you are running this shit in the ground and you're terrible at it. And you have no new concepts. I check in from time to time. It's lazy. You have nothing new. Where are the big ideas? I got Ryan Reynolds on.
Can somebody could take that clip of him saying, it's all lazy, where's the new ideas? And then just overlay his channel
Oh my god.
Right there. Like, where are the new ideas? And then it's just Popcorn Planet, Britney's first Gabby Petito. That's all it is. I mean, like, oh my god.
It's like 10 streams on Gabby Petito, and then another 5 on Britney Spears, another 10 on Gabby.
Yeah, in the last how long? Like, in the last couple days?
Right.
I mean, like, look, Gabby Petito's like, dead, and now that whole
like,
era.
It's okay. Like, it's crazy how many videos he's made on Gabby Petito.
There's a lot there. Yeah, he's done that. But let's continue. Let's see. Hey, Rick, how long does this go on for? Let me know.
On the channel. Wait, what? You brought him back for Deadpool 2, and you did the dumbest, laziest joke. You didn't even make a joke about me. I can't. Guys, they had this opportunity to get Ryan Reynolds back and even take a knock at me, and they didn't even do it. They're just so out of it. It's so by the numbers. It's so sad, and it makes me angry because I'm proud of this brand. I am proud of this show. I'm proud of this shirt. I'm proud of the community. I love that community. And I was in a stupid mindset, and I didn't know how to flirt. I'd never been flirted with before. I didn't know what was going on. I was unhappy in my life at the time. It's not an excuse. It was a whirlwind of problems. I had suddenly thrust into this weird level of fame. I made mistakes. But my God, the way they've treated me since is despicable. Nothing I did warrants the type of behavior that to this day I'm treated like I'm Voldemort. On the own history of the site, and I refuse to let that happen. This channel was a huge success, and no more. Now it's dead. It's completely dead. It was bought by Fandom Entertainment. Now I want to get into this a bit because I haven't gone into this because I've been trying to avoid this drama.
No, he hasn't. He brings it up all the time. He literally has brought it up multiple times.
Oh my god. Like, also, like he has the playlist, and he has 54 videos on Gabby Petito.
Yeah, exactly. Right. What was he saying there? He notice how the way that he is framing him cheating on his wife, right? Like right. The way he frames that is like, I've never been. He makes excuses. He skirts around the accusations there. He skirts around. I mean, look, I don't know if he has said it up until that point as well.
He villainizes Fandom Entertainment and Screen Junkies.
Yeah, but he's also, but talking about the fact that like he fraternized with fans, and I had a relationship with one, and that's what ultimately got him in trouble, Yeah. And so, but he's trying to go like he's explaining like, oh, I was unhappy, I've never been famous before, woe was me. Please play the world's smallest violin for me. Something, anyone, please. And
poor Andy Signor.
I know. And then it's like, dude, what about your wife and your kids, man? Like, I mean, I'm just saying. It's like, what about your wife and your kids? They got drug into this shit, and it's like, I mean, I don't know. I just think he's such a scummy fucking person. He really, really, really is.
He's a piece of shit.
Okay, let's do another minute or two, I guess. If there's anything really funny, if you guys got a time save for something really funny, let me know. If not, this is just Andy going on a pity stream for an hour and 3 minutes.
I can't talk about what I did during my time. I'm not going to talk about trade secrets during my day. I can't get into all that details, I'm not going to do that. The sale happened after me. So,
by the way, just so you guys know, when Andy rebooted Popcorn Planet, he literally tried to do the same shows again. He did. He tried to do a version of Honest Trailers. I forget what he called it, but he tried to do another version of Honest Trailers that ended up getting no traction. And then he when I first met him, he was going to a local theater in Tampa, and he was doing a YouTube show from inside the theater. Like, people would watch the movie, and then they had, then they would talk about it afterward, or he would, he was trying to do this like variety show sort of thing with everything. He would go to conventions with like what was it? Thor is the worst Avenger. Prove me wrong. He tried copying like Steven Crowder, and doing like
Screen Junkies do like this whole like movie pitch roundtable thing.
Mate, I don't remember. I don't.
Andy tried to be like, oh, that was my idea, and tried to do the same thing, but with like Jody and like some other.
Well, they did
dude.
nerd wars and nerd fights and things like that, where they, and I was on a couple of those, and they were relatively fun. He was trying to go more for like a variety show, game show sort of thing, and it just like, but he's got a point. All things considered, he's got a point in the fact that people want drama, they want interesting content,
and he feeds it to them.
I can't really criticize that, as I'm doing that literally right now.
Yeah,
but I'm also like, this is something I have not seen yet, so I'm just kind of curious. Okay, what's the speculation warning?
I can speculate here. I can speculate. I may have heard things. I don't know if these things are true. Oh my goodness. Pamela, thank you so much.
Andy, we love you, we support you, and you have made a difference in all of our lives. F them. Please use this for yourself on your trip and not on the channel. Purple Heart.
Thank you, Pamela. You've been amazingly supportive, and thank all of you. But guys, I get it, but I need to get it out. So I appreciate you letting me get this out. Let me get it out. I'm gonna get this out, and I hope, like previously when I've done this, it helps me, and it's gonna make my vacation this weekend be all that much better, because I'm gonna be like, do you know what I mean? Sometimes you just got to let it out so you can then breathe again. And I guess there was still a little bit more in that I needed to let out. So thank you so much for that. And let me continue here, because I want to get all this out. And
that sounds like you should go to a doctor.
It does.
It might be a little bit fetid at this point.
It's like, he was like, it's stuck in. It's like, he sounds like he's constipated with some information.
I don't know.
Like, it's like, I can't let it out, but it's like it's pushing through, and I'm letting it out, but it's painful to let it out. It's like, are you describing your current situation? Like, why you're sitting there?
I don't know. All right, let's let's just get through the speculation. Then I'm just gonna wrap it up, I guess. Yeah. Oh, Mo Moon here says he's digging through the Petito family trash. I mean, I would have been past him.
Like I went back again. Like, he actually made 2 separate folders or playlists for the Gappy Petito thing. Like, so it's like 60 to 65 streams just on that.
Oh yeah, they did a lot.
55 on like Britney Spears. So it's just like,
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, no, it would pop up occasionally. I'd see it, but there's like
one of them was a charity stream, so I'm like, okay, fine.
I guess they raised like 47,000 for like domestic abuse or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is good. Which is good. I'm not knocking that at all. I feel like it was done on false pretenses, but I'm not going to knock the money that was made, Exactly. And the thing is, though, he'll be able to use that as a shield for like any criticism.
He'd be like, "Oh, I did it for charity." I'm like, "Yeah, but all the information you like, what I'm understanding from like Twitter and stuff, it's all the information you said in like 3 streams is copy and paste."
Yeah. Like, well, a lot of it is just well, there's other people that were like doing live streams on the Petito thing that had like 45, 50,000 people watching. You know what I mean? Like, we're talking like, this was so massive that like, I get it. I mean, I talked about it too, but like, I didn't push it as hard as other people. I waited for information to come out. I wasn't sitting there like, Petito watch 24/7 and then just go from there. But okay, let's see what's going on.
And the reality is, Fandom Entertainment, I don't know what you did. I wasn't there. I've heard things. I can't tell you if these are true. So please, by all stretch of the imagination, don't quote me here. I don't know. I mean, I heard people, my own friends who are in charge. Oh, well, it was sold for pennies of the dollar. Oh, what's Andy, you put us in such shambles. Bullshit. Do you think this brand Screen Junkies was sold for pennies on the dollar? Do you think it was? But that's the narrative that's being told to everybody else. Oh, Andy did this and this. No, I believe, and this is speculation. I don't know anything. I'm just guessing because this is another brand. I never worked for Fandom. I don't know what's going on. But I have a sneaking suspicion somebody there is making a lot of money in my absence. A lot of money in my absence. And I believe someone close to me, and you know who you are, sir. You're a scumbag. You had every opportunity to talk to me. You had every opportunity to at least extend a hand and thank me for what we did and understand where I was coming from. And you chose the coward's way out, and karma's going to get you, my man. I thought you were a great dude. You are not a good dude. And karma is a bitch. And you seem like such a nice, I would never wish that on anybody, but my God, is this going to be a hard fall when it hits you? And I'm not going to be there to help you because you weren't there to help me. And the reality is that's what friends do. When you hit bottom, friends are there for you, right? Friends reach out. Friends, even if even if you do something terrible, a friend is there to make sure you don't kill yourself. A friend is there to make sure that your family is okay. A friend doesn't ensure that they take away your unemployment. Guys, they took everything from me. Overnight, I lost my salary. I had a family, and I effed up my family. That's on me. But overnight, they destroyed me. And you know what they did? Do you know what they did after the fact? They took everything away overnight. Done. And then they had the gall to take my unemployment. They literally got them to take my unemployment checks away.
Yeah, when you get fired, they can do that. So he would have filed unemployment in Cali, and then he would have submitted it, and it would have gone in for review, and then the company could have either approved it or filed their own appeal to it. And the company at that point would then go, well, he could have caused willful and wanton harm to the company by his actions of, let's say, preying on a fan, right? And by hooking up with someone who was a fan member, they could have used it as an argument. Then it would have gone to the next level, which would have been going to a hearing where each side would have presented their case, and then the judge would rule on that in, like, I think about a week or two. I know because I went through something very similar to that in 2011 when I left my theater job. And it, ended up winning that. It's not hard to win. The company I worked for tried claiming I caused them like damage. But they never specified what it was. And so if he says here they're going after my unemployment, you're not guaranteed unemployment in a right to work state. Like you're just not guaranteed unemployment. You can file like everybody else, but that doesn't mean you're going to get it. And then, but if you listen to this here, if you listen to him here, I get he's frustrated. I understand the frustration. But it's like they took my salary away. They fired you. They fired you because of the allegations that were made. Like there was
That's what happens when you're fired.
Well, yeah, but the allegations that were made, like keep in mind, it was like Harvey Weinstein and then Andy Signor, and the accusations that were made were like, they chose to get rid of him. He did sue them, as far as I understand, for wrongful termination and settled. I don't know for what amount, and I don't care. But so it's like he did go after them for that. And they settled it because they didn't wait. Because as far as I understand it, and again, I could be wrong. Maybe I heard this, through a third party somewhere. Because Andy and I did share some mutuals. If I recall correctly, it was something along the lines of, like they didn't complete an investigation. They just got rid of him. Oh. And that was where he basically was able to get a good lawyer and go in there and get a settlement out of that. And fine, good for him, But it's like, a company is going to protect itself in a situation like that. Should they have acted differently? Yeah. But again, it's like he was vindicated on that front and he's frustrated in that moment. But I don't know. I kind of feel like maybe you're overlooking the fact that it's like, he's arguing that Screen Junkies ruined his life. No.
He ruined his own life.
Yeah. I had kids to feed. Then he shouldn't have put your dick in some strange.
Right.
Right? Like I had a wife. You shouldn't have put your dick in some strange.
Right. Your own actions has ruined your own life. It's not Screen Junkie. It's not some person randomly on the street. No, you did it yourself because you decided to act in a certain way that is not okay, and you put the company at risk.
Well, John here says you can't collect when you get fired. That's actually not true. You can collect. I was fired. You can collect. And I went in there this is great. When I got fired from my job, I literally walked in with my resignation letter in hand. Wow. Right? I was like, I'm out. I'm done. I can't do this place anymore. It's a soul sucking environment and I fucking hated it. My boss is all like, you're fired. I'm all like, yes. And I walked out like unemployment, because if you get fired, you get unemployment.
Get fired or quit.
Yeah, if
Either way, I'm
quit,
gone.
if you quit, unemployment's a lot harder. If you get fired, unemployment's a lot easier. But again, they would have sat there. If they're taking it away like this, like he's saying, they would have then filed an appeal to deny unemployment is what they would have done. And so that's what he's talking about here. But look, I agree that this thing fucked them up. All right. Like, here's the thing. I think Andy is a piece of shit. I've said this multiple times. I've talked to Andy before. I think he is a very wounded and hurt person. And, I think he needs a lot of help, and I still think he needs a lot of help. And
he definitely needs therapy.
You know what? And him, you know, LARPing as a therapist on Twitter is not the way to do it.
No.
Sorry. You know, maybe, and the thing I feel the worst for is eventually you can already tell that his ego is what got him in it beforehand, and it's starting to creep itself back in.
Yeah, you can also, like, if this was supposed to be his way of therapy, it's the wrong way of therapy because you aren't dealing with your own situation that you have, and it builds up, you know, and then you're now building that up, and then you're also now dealing with your own egotistical mind, and the two don't bend together because now you have some troubling past that you didn't deal with at all, and now you're trying to be this big guy that you're not, and it's not going to mend well. You become like this. You become a psycho, where you feed off of every little single sentence in an article and create 5 streams based off of one article or something like that. You know, but yeah.
I mean, that's kind of that's, you know, it's yeah. Anyway, I think I'm okay with moving past Andy on this one. I agree with Rick here. This is what you call narcissistic rage. It really is. And look, I get it, man. I have my days where I get frustrated too. People still make up shit about me all the time. You know, it is frustrating, but at the end of the day, it's like, you know what? Like, I got my kids, I got my health, I got my house, I got my family. I can't really complain. You know, like, I mean, I'm still like not where I want to be, but I'm working on it, where I feel like I'm working on it in a way where I'm trying to build a community of like-minded people, with a propensity for wanting the truth, and not like, let me just chase this, you know, this dead girl's ghost.
Right.
To the point of where, like, he's literally going out to, like, what, the fucking campsite. The best thing the thing is, the only reason why the Petito thing worked out well for Andy was because he literally lives like a little bit north of Sarasota.
I think he had, who's the bounty hunter guy?
Dog,
right? I thought it was Dog. I think he had Dog on one of his streams.
Oh, really? I didn't hear about that. Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, like he had like some detective and Dog, and like he had like a lawyer and like Dog, like a couple detectives on there, and then he, like, you know, people were saying like he was digging through their trash, like he was doing, like, again, he was doing a lot of things where, like, cool, yeah, but the reason why he was doing it wasn't like a good reason, you know. So it's just like, what you're doing is cool and everything, but, you know, the reason why you're doing it is not cool.
He's doing it because there's money.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and again, that's the whole fucking game, isn't it? That's the whole fucking game. All right. That's the only thing you can really say about it, is that it's the whole goddamn game. And people are here to make a living. I'm here to make a living. They're here to make a living. It just all depends on how we want to do it. So I'm that, you know what? I mean, that's really what it boils down to. I think Andy is a duplicitous piece of crap. And you know what? That whole line he said about karma's going to get you one day. Yeah, man, you too. You threatened to dox people. You threatened to, you know, you've threatened to extort people. I've been that person you've threatened to extort. And that is the God's honest truth here. Mad Max the Mandalorian has been threatened with doxing from Jody because he went after them. If you criticize them, I mean, look, the thing is, the fandom menace might fucking suck too, but you know what? They're not going to ever go that far.
Oh, and they don't go as far as Jody, as where he, you know, accused a director of sexually assaulting him. Like,
wait, what?
Yeah, Jody accused Zach of sexually assaulting him on the set of Wonder Woman or something like that.
I don't.
It was just
I don't know how you watch these people, man. Like
I don't watch them. It's all
I
on
only catch
Twitter.
like
It's
I mean the
I'm like,
Cameron
let's see
Passion
what
thing
he's
is
saying
like a
today. Let's see what he's saying
oh okay
today.
yeah I get
And
that
it's
I
like,
get that
oh,
yeah
okay, yeah. Now you see
I
who
get that.
they are.
Well,
I'm just like,
I'm just gonna fine. Fuck it. If this is where we're at right now. So you guys can support the channel without giving YouTube 30% by using streamelements.com/3buck theater/tip or become a patron. There you go. Fuck it. No, look, it's been fun to chit chat. You know, and these things.
it's fun.
Mo Moon here, Matt Jarbo versus Andy Signore at SummerSlam. Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. You know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I wish him the best. I don't know. I guess what's the most passive aggressive Christian thing a person can say? All right, I'll pray for you.
I'll pray for
and
you.
I'm not even
You'll be in my
Christian.
prayers.
I'll be in my prayers. God forgive. Man may not, but God forgives.
Yes.
I mean, no, Rick here says he's been exposed as being more of a creep. Yeah, actually, you know what? I'll tell you this, Rick. If you wanna go on a little bit of a exploratory dive, all right. You can look through his Twitter feed and oddly enough, interestingly enough, he seems to reply pretty often, or he did for at least a couple times. He replied to local women who were from Tampa. Like one of them was a tattoo artist. Like it came across as really creepy. And
That
like,
is creepy.
like,
That's almost as creepy as
I
another
forget,
person.
I forget. If I don't know if I could find it at all, but someone had sent me a screenshot of it, or at least a link. I think this was months and months and months and months ago.
Thoughts and prayers for Andy.
Yeah, this what it was is that he, okay, let's see, maybe this is it. Hold on, I think I might. No, it's not this guy. Damn it. Someone else has sent me other things about him. But maybe it's somebody else. God damn it. Sorry, guys. It really is like I said, if you can find it on his Twitter feed of where he had
now Twitter, you're allowed to, click a search bar up on the corner of the profile and you can look up things now.
Oh, really? Because I mean, I've been
people
blocked for a long time.
A Chris Pratt tweet, and it was like quote tweeting, like it's basically him saying like, if I wasn't an actor, I'll be a cop and I'll be a corrupted one. I'll be on the payroll, like some weird like tweet, and I was just like, okay.
Jeez.
Like, it's like benefits a culture that that's toxic now. So Twitter is fun.
Yeah, damn it. I just don't remember where this thing is at. Oh well, I mean that's fine. Yeah. But no, you can find him. He was just looking up women like that were local to Tampa and just kind of randomly reaching out on Twitter. One of them was like a news reporter, and one of them was like a tattoo artist, and like another one was like, I forget, but it's like a couple women. You're just like finding this out, like, oh dude, you're just like hitting up these chicks, dude. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Because like, don't you have a girlfriend? What are you doing on this other stuff?
Exactly.
So it is what it is, man. But oh well. Let's see here. Let's see. He hasn't changed a bit because he doesn't think he needed to. He's a victim. Yeah, of course he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course he is. That's like that's exactly where that's exactly what he feels. He's like, if you listen to that whole thing, I'm a victim. Nah, dog. Nah, the consequences. All right. Like, right. Hey, I flagged some people 3 years ago, only like 5 people, total. In total, I think it was like 13 videos total, 5 people channels, right? People hit me. I lost 80% of my revenue. I had friends throw me under the bus, people I had been hanging out with a few weeks earlier at VidCon. You know what? I lost a channel with 160,000 subs to the point of where I just removed all the videos because fuck it. Like there's no point to have it anymore. You know what? You can argue that the severity of what I did or didn't do, but there are consequences that have to be paid. And no matter, you know what? And like, I think that some stuff was a bit over the top. Absolutely. But at the end of the day, you know what? It doesn't change the past. It doesn't change shit. So,
Right.
You know,
It's like what DC was saying about the whole Chris Pratt thing. He was being sarcastic about it, and people were just bringing it up because, again, people like to bring up tweets about actors when they're hired as something.
Oh yeah. Well, in the Chris Pratt, that whole thing is, so many people I know were just going off on him today, and I'm like, why? He didn't do anything.
It's another thing why people are going is because he was like praising his current wife, bringing him a beautiful, healthy daughter, and people were taking that to the extent saying he's like basically being ableist about his son that he has with Ann Faris. I'm like, he's probably not. He's just, I mean, what does a calm Instagram post about that make you think that he's attacking someone? And it's just like a whole another thing. Like, it's just crazy what people think these days. So, like I said, social media and Twitter are fun. It's it's one of these things where it's like you meet everyone there.
I've been trying to like stay off of Twitter a bit more. If I can.
That side of Twitter that like is trying,
Oh yeah, he did have Dog the Bounty Hunter on. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. Yeah. It was crazy.
Yeah. I mean,
like, just looking at like his like video catalog, just about the whole Gabby Petito thing, it's like you can see like when it started as an actual like cause of concern to where it was like a cause of greed. So there's ethics and there's unethical practices, and it's the game.
Oh yeah. Anyway, I mean, at this point, fuck it. Fuck it. I don't know. Tonight was kind of like a once in a while thing, maybe, but it was fun. It was a good time, a good fun 3 hours.
Yeah.
But and I appreciate you coming on, man. Where can people find you?
You can find me at the Pop Culture Corner, and also you can also find me at the Little Big Cities Studios Networks. Both of those producing shows there. Also, sometimes an interim host for Austin when he's absent on Jive with Jack, which those shows are on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1:30 PST, 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. So you can find me both of those places. We have cool stuff happening both places. Pop Culture Corner is awesome, and Little Big City Studio Networks is also awesome. So
good.
It's fun,
All right, man. Well, thank you very much. Be sure to check him out, and we'll definitely talk to everybody soon. Thank you guys all very much for hanging out tonight. If you haven't already, toss a like. We had a pretty good group hanging out for the last couple hours. Like, holy shit, it's 2:00. I got to go to bed. But thank you all. Have